Live from the VVR studios in downtown Boston, it's showtime. Welcome to Violent Vinyl Radio. I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First up, the podcaster holding all the aces, Dangerous Dave.
Welcome to the lame train. How you doing, everybody?
And last but not least, the podcaster who likes the dark side of the beat, Lisa.
You got some lipstick I can borrow?
Sure, it's black though. As always, the mission of the show is for us to introduce each other and you, the listeners, to albums and bands which you may never have heard before, while also discussing the classics. So sit back and enjoy the show. Dave, speaking of the show, where can they find this fine podcast?
We are available on most podcast outlets. Also, check us out on YouTube. Give us a listen, like, subscribe, and share. Please tell a friend about us. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star review. It really helps out the show. You can find us on all our social medias. We are on Instagram at VVR Podcast Insta. We are on Facebook at Violent Vinyl Podcast. And finally, we are on YouTube at Violent Vinyl Radio.
Nice. So I put a short up on YouTube of myself. So if you guys want to see my ugly mug and see what I actually look like, you can go over and check that out in our shorts on the YouTube channel. And I'm also wearing the Violent Vinyl Radio shirt. So you guys can see the cool shirt. And if you're, and I'm also holding the mug and pretending like I'm drinking coffee out of it. Truth be told, all that was in the mug was my headphones. So check out the merch store at vvr.printify.me. Get yourself a shirt and a mug. And I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. We sell just one shirt or one mug, and I will drop the other 3 designs. So there you go. That's the challenge to you, the listeners.
Nice.
And I'm excited because, you know, we're always trying to grow the show. We're always trying to evolve, make it better. And, you know, like I said, we've always struggled on YouTube because, I mean, it's a podcast and YouTube isn't really a podcast, you know, platform, but we have been doing better on it. And I thought it would be fun to put some live footage of the bands we're talking about behind the discussion. So this week, we're going to put a couple of live Faster Pussycat shows playing behind us talking. So you can just put it on. You get to check out some old footage, see what these guys look like, how they moved, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought it would be more interesting. So go over, check out this episode on YouTube, drop the comments, tell if you liked what we did, if you have any ideas on maybe how we could, you know, make it a little cooler. That's always great. We love feedback. And yeah, so we'll do that. Let's head over to the mailbag. Lisa, Dave, what do we got?
Yes, I just have one question about
Sure.
When you drank out of the cup with your headphones.
Yes.
Did you, in fact, drink the headphones?
No, they did not fall out there in my ears as we speak. It's where I store them. You can see I keep it on my interface here, and I put my headphones in it. So
Excellent news.
there you go.
All right, so we would like to give a hearty Instagram welcome aboard to our new friends, Alok Barman and Phantom Edge Music. That is Florida Swamp Metal. That's a friend of the show, Jim Del Vecchio, his band down in Florida. Welcome aboard.
Welcome, welcome.
Also on Instagram, Henning said thanks for the birthday wishes and adds that Love Hate passed him by at the time and he hates both the lyrics and the cover.
Nice, Henning. You're my man.
His quote, whoever wrote the lyrics also designed the cover, .. Both are horrendous. End quote. This guy knows what he's talking about.
I love it.
Over on Facebook, thanks again, Mike, and thanks to Rusty Crow for sharing our posts.
Rusty Crow. Hey, hold on.
Yes.
So that band withheld their copyright thing. So like we actually got fucking popped for fucking playing their music. So if we got monetized, we couldn't get paid for using that episode because they wanted to hold us to the fire on that. So thanks, Rusty Crow.
Son of a bitch. And we also have achieved top fan badges for The Unsatisfied and Ricky Rackman.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Ricky.
So that's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
And as you mentioned, I also wanted to put in a plug to check out our merch ad on YouTube at Violent Vinyl Radio. Anthony Russo says, "Slick work. Got to get me one of those kick-ass shirts." Thanks, Anthony. And did we have I don't know if you wrote it in your notes, Lisa, but an update about the Fighting Friday, about the pronunciation of the lady?
Yes. I'm turning into Des. I am the Des of the podcast now.
Well, don't do that.
That was a tricky one.
The lovely woman in the video who I pronounced her name Rianne Harms, I believe is how I pronounced it, because that's how it looks like when you write it down.
Yeah.
Her name is pronounced Ryan. So incredible apologies to you, Ryan. I did not know that, and now I'm Des. So here we go.
We're gonna get sued for doing that melting pot fucking episode by Dave Strummer. I love it.
Thanks, Rusty.
Okay, so first thing I want to do is go back to our Ramones episode, which is going back, I think, skipping back 2 episodes. We got a comment from a listener in Scotland.
I love it.
Yeah. Gary Boy 1976 says, "I love the podcast. I usually listen late on a Friday night once I get the chance to chill at home with a beer or two. I really like the long form deep dives into the album and the differing opinions, even if I disagree with them at times. I fail to understand how anyone doesn't connect with the Ramones. There has not been a more important band in the post-Beatles era. Yeah, I'm willing to die on that hill. Also, to change Johnny Ramone is like changing Ringo Starr in the Beatles.
We have to change somebody. It's the rule, okay?
Yeah. He isn't the best musician on that instrument, but he's still the best musician for the band. And FYI, Leave Home is the greatest Ramones album. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, but yeah, I mean, we do have to pick somebody to replace, right? And it's hard in some of these older bands that are just classic lineups. It was really hard for me to change someone in Hanoi, for example, and just you have to pick somebody. So yeah,
sure, yeah. I mean, he made a good point. Like, who wants to replace Ringo Starr in the Beatles? You can't do it.
Yeah. So going over to the love-hate episode that we did last, I had commented about the Awful Song on their album about the 13-year-old girl when I posted and shared the episode. And I mentioned that I didn't know why I was so hard on Winger because at least their girl was 17.
You said.
Yeah. So David E. Black of Dogs of Verona commented and said, "I surely do not like Winger one single bit. I didn't like him when he played in Alice Cooper's band, and I certainly didn't like his solo music, or his hairy chest, or his damn smile."
all valid points.
Or the clothes he wore, and the way he strutted and moved and slung his bass around while singing about underage girls. So yes, agree. I agree with you, David. I got tons of messages from a ton of people, including Eric Skelf from The Unsatisfied, saying that they remember the band, or some mention of the band, but very, very few people remembered any of the music or any of the songs. So a lot of people had to go back and re-listen for this one.
So Lisa, I texted you guys from work. So I always listen to Pandora at work. I have lots of different channels. You all listen to, Big Log Radio or, whatever it is. So I never listen to hair metal at work. It's very rare, but this day I just wanted to. So I put on I think it was Rat Radio or something, or Vane Radio. And I was digging it. It was about an hour into my day. I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. And that fucking song Straight Jacket came on by Love Hate and fucking ruined the whole thing. I went, that's it. I shut fucking hair metal radio off and went over to fucking Robert Plant Radio. Fuck that Love Hate album.
Lisa Bella, Lisa from the Unsatisfied crew says, you guys are so meticulous and articulate, and your assessments of the songs are so carefully examined. I really appreciate and respect that. It takes time to dissect an album and review the individual parts. It's a full album autopsy.
Hey, I was going to steal that. I was going to steal that.
We have to give Lisa Bella credit for coming up with our album autopsy, which is exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, I think we should call it that when we go into like breaking down the albums. Say, all right, you ready to give this thing an autopsy?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So she says, job well done, team. I really love your introspective approach to the music. She also shared with us that her daughter, Desi, known as Des, another Des, loved Blackout in the Red Room. It was on her very eclectic playlist all the way through high school. Don't recall ever hearing the rest of the album until tonight. So Lisa actually took a listen to the album after the podcast. I think your assessments were on point. I'll just remind you that Des, and this is Desi, Des, not you, Des, in the Unsatisfied Girl Des, in the Unsatisfied's documentary movie, Ambition Withdraw Redux, she was 10 at the time. So if my math is correct, that makes her about 26 or 27 now. So when she was in high school, she was listening to Blackout in the Red Room. So it's really cool to see this kind of music cross over the generations like that.
It is.
Yeah. Incidentally, she's a visual artist and still plays music in the Myrtle Beach area, Des does. And her younger sister, Rhapsody, who was also in the movie but was a baby at the time, is an artist, a writer, and an actor. So totally talented musical, artistic family there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And John G says, Blackout in the Red Room was a great song, simple but great for the time. I just listened to it and it's still great today. A couple more comments. We've got Evelyn says, Des. Great song, Des. Loved it. Liz was commenting on the hidden Easter egg that Des put at the end of the last episode. Same thing from Lisa Bella, commented that your song was smoking hot. So.
Well, thank you, ladies. I do appreciate that. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yep.
Lisa, what'd you think of my little pencil drawing I sent you last night?
Oh, it was fabulous. A little like sort of a goth girl.
It was a little goth girl, a little sketch I did. So I like to draw and paint sometimes. Do what I can.
Get that comic book style.
Yes. It relaxes me.
Mm-hmm.
So is that what we got? We got anything else?
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, no. I seem to remember getting a lengthy message from one radio.
I did not see that.
You replied to it twice.
I did?
Yes, you did. You, in fact, not only did
you
reply
sure
to
it was me?
Yes, you replied to it with two long, drawn-out replies. You replied to him 2 times on Spotify.
Did I disagree with him? Now I have to go look. So.
Yeah. No. You were just commenting on what he was talking about.
Okay. Was it? It was
on
the
good.
Love Hate episode. Okay.
Yep.
Let me go look. Let me see. Oh yes, right. Okay.
How could you forget that?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Here we go.
Okay, so Radio says, I kind of agree with Martin Popoff's take on Love Hate. Yes, the lyrics are ridiculous, but if Nikki and Many could get away with it, why not Jizzy? I think you guys were really tough on Love Hate. I think if you ever get to do a part 2 redux of an episode in the future, Love Hate should be the #1 pick.
Nope.
Great episode.
Nope. I'd lock the door before we do that.
Well, I would be afraid it would go even worse than it did this first time. So.
I'm jaded now.
Yeah. So you responded to him as well. Do you want me to
read? Okay. Please do.
Okay. So Des, you said, why not Jizzy? Because his name is Jizzy Pearl and the lyrics are really bad. I was listening to Rat Radio on Pandora, which is rare, and the story that you just told about Straight Jacket. I really didn't enjoy Love Hate and will probably never listen to them again. But Dave liked them. Throwing Dave under the bus. Thanks for checking in.
That's okay.
Yeah. And I wrote that I do think we were hard on them overall. The pieces were all there. They had a good singer. They had some good changes in the music. They had some catchy hooks, a few good lines. If they had a good producer round out the songs, they would have benefited. It was like listening to. I was listening to a lot of Jane's Addiction then, but no one was able to properly do the same style. And when you try to do Jane's Addiction and you're not Jane's Addiction, you're not going to get there.
I didn't hear any Jane's Addiction on that phone. Nothing, not even a hint.
Yeah, and the comparison with Nikki and Jizzy, Nikki was writing lyrics in, we'll call it 1980 for their 81 debut, and then in 1982 for their 1983 album. This was a time when you could still write simple lyrics because no one else had ever written this way before. I think the demands were lower than in like 91, 92 when anything that had already been done was kind of already done, and people were hungry for like more thoughtful songs, and the albums had like more complex arrangements and lyrics. Just the landscape was completely different at the time. So I think that's kind of why we give Nicky a pass, because he was doing it when there was nothing behind him to compare
Are we
to.
talking about Nikki Sixx?
I think so, right?
Nikki Sixx wrote
I would
great
assume so.
lyrics. Take my fist to break down
Well,
walls. I mean,
simple lyrics, though, I would say.
but simply good, not simply shit.
Well,
It's a difference, you know.
mm,
I'm going to go out tonight, get in a fight. All right?
all right.
Yeah, I guess we were a little hard. Ward, weren't you a little hard on the beaver last night?
Ward, do you think you're being a little bit hard on the beavers?
All right. So there you go. There's the mailbag. Thanks for writing in, guys. Thanks for commenting on the Spotify channel and on the YouTube channel. Like I said, it helps the podcast get out to new listeners. So let's keep that going. And like I said, do not forget, go over and watch the Faster Pussycat episode on YouTube so you can see all this great Faster Pussycat live footage. And now it is time to head over to the VVR melting pot. We have something very different for you this week. So as you know, we're trying to share music from independent bands and songwriters. So this week we are featuring an artist named Reg. Lisa, what do you have on this artist?
It's Reg.
Reg.
Reg?
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh,
Reg.
all right. Reggie. I thought
Dave,
Reg.
Dave, why don't you give us a little backstory on
Reg,
this one?
it's just me. I just fuck up every name, don't I?
Well, I told you I was becoming you because I couldn't even say Ryan's
But
name correctly.
This one is fucking 3 letters. How do you fuck up a 3-letter name? Fucking idiot. Sorry, Reg.
All right, so I met Reg at Berklee College of Music in Boston. We went there at the same time. We were neighbors in the dorms and were in at least one band together for a while. She's a big Iron Maiden and Judas Priest fan and played an old Gibson Les Paul Custom.
She still got it.
I think it's the same one she plays now.
Yeah.
We lost touch for a while and then randomly ran into each other in a guitar shop in New York City. And from what I understand, she's become a well-respected artist in the avant-garde music scene. This video that we watched for this is the official music video and directed by Mark Borchardt. I think that might be the way to say his
You
name.
sure about that?
Now we're all turning into Des.
Yeah, you can find her music at Reg Bloor. That's RegBloor.bandcamp.com. If you go there and see the cover art for her songs, she also did the cover art for those songs. So multi-talented there. I spoke to her the other day on chat, and what she had to say was this quote, "The song is the title track of my 2023 record of the same name. The video was directed by Mark Borchardt, best known as the subject of the documentary American Movie." We'll have to check that one out.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Cool. Yeah, I went over to her YouTube channel and she's got a bunch of live videos just of her like in her room or her studio or whatever it is. And she's playing this old, like, Les Paul Sunburst. It's, it's toned down from years. And she fucking gets on that thing, man. She gets on it. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. It's very cool. I put a comment on her YouTube channel and just, told her how much I appreciated what she was doing. So, Lisa, do you have anything on this? Or you want me to just spin this thing?
Oh, I have a few things.
Oh,
Yeah. So
good.
she's probably one of the best metal guitarists in New York. She bills herself as an avant-garde guitarist. So obviously that sparked my curiosity before I realized who she was. And can I tell you how angry I am with Dave for not letting me know that he knows her? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been playing professionally as a solo artist since 2014, but has a big history before that. She released 4 albums on her own label called Systems Naturalizers, which she started with her husband, Glenn Branca. She originally came from Boston, as Dave has said, from the band Twitcher. She was like a no-wave band. They seemed a little bordering on noise music, maybe just avant-garde art. They released an album in '99 called Leg of Lamb of God, and they toured around the U.S. She moved to New York in 1999, where she was in a project with Glenn Branca called the Glenn Branca Ensemble. Now, this is her now unfortunately late husband, Glenn Branca, who was lost in 2018 from throat cancer. Fuck cancer, by the way. We could literally do an entire episode on his incredible career in no wave and noise music and avant-garde projects from albums to bands to building his own instruments. He would seriously require a 2-hour feature just for himself. He's that much of a powerhouse. With Glenn, she participated in a stack of albums, including Symphony Number 12, Symphony Number 13, Hallucination City for 100 guitars, Symphony Number 15, Running Through the World Like an Open Razor, Music for Strange Orchestra, Symphony Number 16, Orgasm for 100 guitars. She also appeared as part of the Glenn Branca Ensemble on his CD, The Ascension, the sequel, and on his posthumous 2019 release, The Third Ascension. She has another Paranoid Critical Revolution project, she made 3 albums with them. She's worked with David Bowie, Paige Hamilton, Thurston Moore, Don I'm going to say this name horribly. See, I'm becoming Des. John Patitucci.
I think you got that right.
Okay. Annie
Jazz
Clark.
guy.
Mike Wart, Adrian Utley from Portishead, Ty Braxton. I could just go on and on and on. Her and her late husband are literally noise music royalty. And you know how much I love noise music. Seriously, Dave, you did not tell me you knew her.
Yeah, well, I know lots of people, but
my goodness, but she's like extra special. So
yeah.
So in 2019, she participated in a project called Citizens of Nowhere, and most recently 2024 she has a project called Egregious Harmonics. She had a recent show just this past week in New York City, which was basically she was playing at like an art exhibition. So it was like art and artistic music and just a whole thing. And we didn't go because I didn't know that you knew her. Yeah. So yeah, and thank you very much for that. And
sorry again.
She has an upcoming show June 12th of this year at the Lincoln Center, Geffen Hall, New York City.
Wow.
Playing Glenn Branca's Symphony Number 13, Hallucination City for 100 guitars in its entirety, I believe. And she will be the conductor. So
that's cool.
Amazing. So yeah, let's spin it while I beat Dave up a little bit here.
I didn't even know that noise music was the thing. Like I hit play and I had never heard anything like this before. And I'm sure most of our listeners has also never heard anything like this before. So I want you guys to open your minds, okay? Open your minds and get ready for something new. This is what we do here. Coming to you hot from the VVR melting pot, I present to you, viewer discretion is not advised. Roll it. So, like I said, this is art, and it is so unbelievably dramatic that it reminds me of something you might hear playing behind like a disturbing scene in a dark art house movie, or even something maybe more mainstream. Like immediately the movie Citizen Ruth came to my mind. Like I could see this playing behind like Ruth huffing spray paint behind the drugstore and like stumbling around and being dizzy and followed down. Like that's just what it reminded me of. Um, the the composition made me feel a certain way. Like I said, it kind of brought me back to some of these art house movies I had seen in the past and stuff. And that's the mark of good art. And this was good art. And, at the same time as it being this dramatic, piece of solo guitar work, it's also very dynamic and very structured if you really listen to it. And if you watch her on her YouTube channel and you watch some of the chords that she's playing and some of the hand positions that she has, it's sneaky tough. I don't think I could do it. So there you go. Great job. And thank you for sharing it with us. Dave, what did you think?
Yeah, that is some sharp guitar with wild fuzz tone.
Oh, yeah.
I did like in the video the creepy figure coming through the tunnel and the weird baby doll. That stuff's right up my alley.
Sure.
It all builds to a massive sound at the end, and I kind of had a similar note that this would be great in a movie soundtrack for a crazy dream sequence.
Yeah.
According to her website's bio at regbloor.com, her music already appeared in film with, as we said, 1990s Boston-based band Twitcher appearing on the soundtrack to the Troma film Terror Firmer. It's wild stuff. I'm sure Reg must be a Sonny Chirac fan. I got some similar vibes to his playing. We plugged the upcoming gig, June 12th at Lincoln Center, Geffen Hall, NYC, playing the symphony and conducting it. We're moving up in the world in this podcast. I'll get my tuxedo and monocle. We now have real artists, not just Motley Crue singing about beer and crashing a Corvette.
Scooby-Doo-wah-wah.
So check this out if you're looking for something different with crazy guitar, much different than most people's usual whammy bar and sweep tapping.
Yeah. I think it's really fun that we have, it's a melting pot and this is what it's supposed to be. And I think it's really cool that we threw this spice in there for this episode. Really neat stuff. Lisa, what'd you think of the track?
So when I turned this on, I didn't know what to expect. Nobody had told me that this was noise music or avant-garde guitar or anything. I expected one of Dave's, Berkeley doodly friends to come on there, right? Yeah. And instead, we got something that is right up my alley. As you know, I love noise music. So every month here, we have a show up in Manchester, New Hampshire at Jewel Music Hall called Interference, which is a noise salon where they feature noise artists. And last month, my bestie AMK's band Noise Soup Miasma recently played. I think that Reg would fit right into that group. She would probably be, the headliner and something extra special for somebody to come and see if she played. Though that is usually played in the back room at Jewel, while in the front room, we have Resurrection, which is the goth night. So you have the goth night and the noise music night on the same night in the same venue, which is extra cool. So I love everything experimental. Now, this is obviously guitar focused. I want to say that I hear a little synth, but it's not that I hear synth. It's that there's a lot of effects. And Dave, explain a little bit. It's like harmonics or something. What is this?
I believe I heard some kind of guitar effect that might be a pitch shifter or something of that nature. That is what you're hearing, like the extra kind of notes.
Creating some other sounds.
Yeah. It's really cool.
It is.
When we saw Author and Punisher at the Sonia, you didn't go, I went to see that. It's like he has a guitarist that plays with him as well. And it's fascinating to see all of the different things that you can do with the guitar. And with Reg, this is a perfect example of it's not what you expect at all. It's something extra special. And you can also see that when she writes the music, she definitely had this video in her mind when I think when she was writing it. It's like a multimedia experience almost. It's like a horror, sort of like a horror movie, a creepy horror movie-esque kind of thing. And as the music gets more frantic, the video gets more frantic and faster and like goes right along with it. And I'm also watching, there was a hand on a tree, like a bloody hand, and it was like playing the tree almost like she's playing the guitar. I'm wondering if it was her hand doing that. It's like really cool.
There you go. That tree needs a good setup and a string change.
Yeah. There's a lot of different types of noise music. There's you've got harsh, you've got Japa noise, you've got power electro and power noise and noise rock, which some of that can lean into like industrial music. You've got ambient noise, dark ambient, like Mortis with his dungeon synth, Mortis from Norway. There's some styles like drum and bass, which are usually thought of as like techno that can border into noise as well. And there's like neurofunk and electric bass. So I would put this into like the noise rock category. It's definitely avant-garde, definitely pure art. Yeah, and I'm actually shocked that a Berkeley grad went into noise music, because when I think of Berkeley grads, I think of technicians and people focused on theory and things like that, even like classically trained. But she actually had made a statement in an interview where she said that being at Berkeley taught her how she was too locked into the rules, and that training taught her to break the rules.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing. If you learn the rules first, then you can break them after.
But
So,
Lisa, that's what I was saying. When you watch her play on her YouTube channel, this does not look like somebody just one finger in the guitar and just thrashing around. I'm looking at her hands and some of the, the fucking chord she's holding, and I'm like, I don't know that chord. It's cool.
Yeah. So this is completely in my wheelhouse. I freaking love it. I am thrilled you guys are finally bringing me some music that's in my spectrum of sound. I love art house. I love noise music. And she is really the pinnacle of this genre. So
you're welcome.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks for sending it in. We really appreciated it.
Thank you, Reg.
And guys, keep sending in your music. This is a lot of fun. I love doing the melting pot. Listener Henning, he has been promising me a demo from his band from back in the day. I've been in contact with him, and he's going to get that to me as soon as he can. So I'll be looking forward to hearing what the Hen Man was freaking bringing. Dude, can you guys see this horrible thing on the top of my hand? It looks like a diamond, like a big swollen diamond.
What is that?
So I did 4 mixed martial arts rounds at my place on Saturday with a guy that was a little younger, a little better than me. Full pads, everything, punching, takedowns, submissions. And I woke up today and my right hand is fucking all fucked up, and I got to work all week with this. I can barely hold my pencil.
And that's your main hand too, right?
It is my main hand. It sucks. Well, I also bought a new pair of the mixed martial arts gloves, like the fingerless gloves, and they were brand new. I was breaking them in, and
you sure did.
All right. Let's get over to the album. Tonight, we will be discussing Whipped, the 3rd studio album from Faster Pussycat, produced by John Jensen, released on August 4th, 1992 on the Great Electro Records. The album peaked at the number 90 spot on the U.S. Billboard 200, I'm guessing because of Nonstop to Nowhere. That one definitely put them on the map. The band's lineup was as follows: Tammy Down on lead vocals and backing vocals, Greg Steele on electric guitar, acoustic guitar, keyboards, mandolin, and backing vocals. I like that mandolin in that one song. It's kind of cool. Brent Muscat, electric guitar, acoustic guitar, sitar, and backing vocals. They brought those 2 instruments in, and they were like, Brent's like, I want the fucking sitar. And Greg's like, I'll take the mandolin. They're like, you sure you guys know how to play these things? That doesn't matter. It's fucking air metal. Eric Stacy on bass, guitar, and backing vocals, and Brett Bradshaw on drums, percussion, and backing vocals. I got to tell you, I'm just going to front load this episode. Eric Stacy and Brett Bradshaw, the growth between the first 2 albums to this album is staggering. The fucking rhythm section on this album is fucking breathtakingly good for this kind of music. We'll just say that now. So there you go. You guys want to do some album facts on this one, starting with Dangerous Dave?
All right. Faster Pussycat was formed in 1985 in Los Angeles. We covered their 1987 self-titled debut album in episode 2. We released that episode August 16th, 2024, if you're looking for it. It is currently the original debut album is ranked number 5 on the Violent Vinyl album chart.
Oh, yes. I wanted to know. And where's the second one?
We covered their 1989 second album, Wake Me When It's Over, in episode 16. That one was released March 14th, 2025. That is currently ranked number 8 on the big album chart.
I think it's perfect. I like the direction this is going, and I think we're going to keep going in this direction.
Be sure to listen back to those episodes to get bunches of Faster Pussycat facts. In 2020, Jeff Mezdilo of Yardbarker included them.
Is that your final answer?
Mizidlo?
Mizidlo, sure. That sounds good.
Can I buy a vowel?
Of Yardbarker included them in his list of the 20 greatest hair metal bands of all time. Faster Pussycat was ranked at number 12. Poison was ranked number 1 on that list.
Wow.
So,
We need to make a list and make it official like that.
yeah.
Make it official.
Official.
It's official.
3 years from Faster Pussycat's second album to this third one. Past experience indicates they may have waited too long in between those albums. What happened? Research indicates they toured intensely after the success of their first 2 albums, and especially with the hits House of Pain, and in between, their cover of Carly Simon's You're So Vain may have held up the process of doing this third album. According to Wikipedia, quote, the record was not released on vinyl in the United States, but was in Europe and a number of Asian countries, including Korea, end quote. Vinyl was very much out of fashion by the early 90s, so that does seem reasonable. I checked it out on Discogs.com, and that seems to be true. It was released on LP in Europe in 1992 and South Korea in 93. Looks like no other version existed until 2022, when it was released as a limited edition reissue by Real Gone Music. The songs on this album were written by various combinations of the 5 members. New drummer Brett Bradshaw has partial writing credit on one song, with the original 4 musicians having all the rest on the album. Sadly, Brett passed away in 2021 at age 50.
Wow, that's young. What happened?
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Oh, Lisa's
okay.
dismal dark facts.
You may have more of Lisa's facts of death.
This was a really tough one to find, so I need a pat on the back for finding this.
Yeah, I found his obituary online, and it just said that he passed away suddenly.
Dave, Lisa's facts of death.
Hey, I'm a goth girl. Death
Yeah.
is beautiful.
We're making a bumper for that one.
Fucking love it.
Also, according to Wikipedia, quote, while the band was touring for the album in 1990, that's the second album, and we had mentioned this before, original drummer Mark Michaels was arrested in Omaha, Nebraska, and fired from the band after signing for a package of heroin addressed to himself.
Nicely played.
Genius move.
Nicely played, sir.
Frankie Banali of Quiet Riot filled in as drummer for the remainder of that tour, after which Brett Bradshaw became their long-term drummer. In 1993, Faster Pussycat parted ways with Eric Stacey and hired Aaron Abelira to replace him.
Abelira, I think is correct.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
Wow, we've really been butchering some names today.
Yeah.
These are hard names.
They are. It was a hard test today.
They would split up shortly after, and then Faster Pussycat reunited in 2001. In an interview with Totally Driven TV on YouTube from 2016, Eric Stacey said he didn't know where original Pussycat drummer Mark Michaels was or what happened to him after he was fired from the band. Eric also says that they tried to expand their sound on this album, Whipped, and it may have gone over people's heads. He went on to talk about how after he was out of the band, he started the band Rhythm Slaves with Brian Forsyth from Kix and Pat from Junkyard, and they were so close to getting a record deal that Eric foolishly turned down an opportunity to audition for Lenny Kravitz's band. Bad move.
Should have done that.
Yeah. The Rhythm Slaves fell apart within weeks after, and Eric, of course, lost out on the Lenny gig.
He would have been good at that because they were into that kind of funk style at that point too.
Yeah, and
it would have been really
retro
great.
rock.
Yeah,
But he plays funk like a badass sleaze rocker, unlike Love, Hate, or Extreme. Yuck.
Producer John Jansen appears again for this album. He also is credited with producing their previous album. He has also worked with the band Television, Lou Reed, Brittany Fox, Cinderella, Bang Tango, and Love Hate on their second album, Wasted in America.
They did another one?
Love Hate did a second album.
Who paid for that?
I don't know.
I just love Bash and Love Hate.
All the listening public.
Okay.
I thought we agreed that we were too hard on them.
I never agreed to that. I call it Jizzy Pearl.
So we have lots of backing vocal credits on this album. In addition to all 5 members of the band, also credited are Becca Bramlett, Lisa Ravine, Stephanie Weiss, and Eric Troyer.
Those women have great voices.
I was just going to say that the female background vocals on this are brilliant. Brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah, I think especially that first lady, Becca Bramlett, I Googled quickly, and she's done a lot of work. I think she did work with Richie Sambora and a bunch of other bands. So,
Dave, was she the one that sang on Where There's a Whip, There's a Way?
I don't know.
That's the voice that sticks in my head.
Yes, it sounds very familiar. I thought I heard it again on this album. So I bet
we talked about that. Wasn't where There's a Whip, There's a Way was the girl from the Nasty Habits.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Molly Crew.
Mick Mars's wife, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, you're right.
If I remember that right.
Yeah, but am I not listening to the facts? What's going on here? I should know this. Okay, good catch.
So next up, Jimmy Z Zavala is credited with harmonica and flute on Big Dictionary, and he's also a saxophone player. He is the musician who we decided in the other episode most likely played the famous harmonica part on Faster Pussycat's House of Pain, since he was credited with harmonica and saxophone on that album.
That was a good harmonica on House of Pain too.
Yes.
Sheesh.
So Jimmy Z returns on this album to help them out. The front cover, depending on where you get it, shows the band members running on a beach. The original CD cover folds out to show a leather-clad lady with a whip towering over the band. She is what they're running away from. Some versions, like the European LP, the US CD long box, remember those? Right now, there's one on sale on eBay, sealed for $35. And the limited version of the Japanese CD all contain the leather gal on the front cover instead of having the hidden.
Now, I had the full cover on mine. I don't ever remember seeing the abbreviated cover. And the abbreviated cover, which is just them running on the beach, makes no sense at all.
Right.
So,
right. You have no idea what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, the CD that I have, it folds out into a poster.
Right. Mine folded out too. I didn't even know they had a censored one, if you will. And it's not even offensive. Like,
no,
she's fully clothed.
I don't know.
I mean, sheesh.
I don't know. The album was recorded in 1991 and 1992 at Soundworks, West Los Angeles, California, and Track Record Studios, North Hollywood, California, for overdubs. And then finally, I have a section of Brent Muscat interview from metal-rules.com, published January 15th, 26, written by Marco Sirhala.
You want to buy?
That's
Is that your final
one.
answer?
Yeah.
Sure.
Poor Dave. You got freaking canned today with all these last names.
Marco S.
I like that. Just go with S's and Z's. You're good.
So I'm going to read this. If it gets too long, just tell me to shut up.
All right, we're done. Lisa, what do you got? I'm joking. Go ahead.
So Brent says, when we started working on Whipped, we got a new guy. Mark Michaels was their first drummer, not the new guy. The first drummer was a big part of the soul of Faster Pussycat. He played on the first 2 records and really understood Hanoi Rocks and the whole vibe. Our new drummer, Brett Bradshaw, didn't really get it because he didn't have the same influences. And the new drummer really threw things off. It took forever to get him up to speed. Sounds really complaining. And on that 3rd record, we were stuck writing for way too long. And then the other thing that happened was grunge. Nirvana blew up. Suddenly, we weren't just competing with what we did on the 2nd record, what Guns N' Roses did. We were up against Nirvana, Soundgarden, and the Seattle grunge scene, and that hurt us. The music on the 3rd record, this one we're talking about, Whipped, was kind of all over the place. There's some grunge on there, some industrial sounding stuff, some old glam rock, some bluesy rock. It's just all over the map. This is an important note here. If we had had a really good producer, things might have turned out differently. I think maybe a good producer would have said, hey, let's make one solid record. These are all great songs, but some of them should probably be on a solo record or maybe a different project.
Yep.
Let's try to make an album that has one identity. Like AC/DC, they make the same record forever and it works. We needed someone to tell us, you guys need to make an album that sounds like you, but remains consistent.
Yep.
Very good point.
I agree.
The labels were focused only on Seattle bands at that point. They wanted Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. And the crazy thing is there was still tons of fans who loved the LA sound, as many fans, if not more, still loved all the hair metal, Sunset Strip music. But it didn't matter. The industry didn't care about the fans. It was the business guys in suits deciding we're marketing this now. It was weird, like we suddenly had zero control. Our record company eventually dropped us. We'd come back to LA and we were more popular than ever. We'd sell out big venues. People were going crazy. On that 3rd record, we tried maybe a little too hard to change our sound. We changed some things, experimented, and adapted. There are moments on that record I still really like. And then even after we got dropped, when I was working random jobs, this is Brent Muscat, by the way, I worked at Starbucks in LA. I worked on movie sets, whatever I could get. Faster Pussycat's last show was in Japan in '93, and it went great. After that, we did some shows in the States on our own and made really good money without a record company. We'd go out and play clubs. The fans were still there. Everything was sold out. We came home with a bunch of money thinking, hey, we can still do this. But the morale wasn't the same. We didn't have a major label behind us anymore. The grunge thing had taken over, and Tammy wanted to do something different. So even though none of us ever officially said we're breaking up, we basically did. Japan '93 turned out to be our last show. I cut that way down. He had a big interview. If you go check out metal-rules.com.
It was great, and it really sets up the breakdown of this album nicely because everything he just said explains a lot of what I heard on this album.
Oh, yeah.
So I left the best part of that gym story out where I hurt my hand. So I did those 4-minute rounds with 30 seconds between each round, and I'm trying to get my brown belt, so I have to complete these things. I can't quit. I just have to go. And he puts me up against the guy, that he thinks can, challenge me to where I need to be challenged. So I was really gassed after like the 3rd. And, my instructor's like, you got to go, you got to pace yourself. You got to make it to the end of this, So we started the last one. And, I was getting pieced up. He's taking me down. He's submitting me. He's fucking punching me. And I'm just trying to like hold on to him and just get in positions where I could just burn the clock, So I made it to the last minute of the round and it ended and it was over. And he's like, all right, great. You did it. So there's the main, area of this gym where, we do our rounds and stuff. And there's like a bathroom right off to the right of that. And this is a Saturday. So like there's people there. I pushed myself too far. I ran into the bathroom. I threw up for about freaking a minute and a half. I came out and Such a fucking loser.
You sounded like Chunk in Goonies when he's doing the puke over the rail.
Fucking puked all over the fucking in that toilet. Just, it was so sad. So there you go. All right, Lisa, Faster Pussycat. Tell us something you didn't tell us the first 2 times.
Okay, I do have some things. So just a reminder, 1992 was a tough year. We talked about it on our last episode with Love Hate, so I won't go into that again. But just a 1-sentence roundup. It was a time of confusion, musical transition, and the bright neon world of the 80s turned to the brown and olive green, dismal and sad world of the 90s where fun was outlawed.
You just described Kurt Cobain's sweater.
Yeah, the rock star was dead. And I did watch that interview with Brent Muscat. That was the one that was 3.5 hours long, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I only saw a printed version.
Okay.
I didn't see a video version.
So that was 3.5 hours long.
Wow, that's
And
a lot.
I watched the whole thing.
Did you?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Get an award for that.
Listen to the commitment of this lady right here.
That's a commitment.
There was a series of them, right? There was a Brent Muscat one that was 3.5 hours. There was a Eric Stacey one that was like 1.5 hours. Yeah. And I think there was one more. I believe that I think Tammy did like maybe a little over an hour with the same guy as well. Yeah. I watched all of those.
Respect the hustle, people.
Yeah. I disagree with some of the stuff that Brent said about the album because I think that musicians grow, and I think had a good producer, as you guys are saying, pigeonholed them into a single sound, we wouldn't have got what we got.
It's not about pigeonholing it. Well, I mean, we'll get to it later on in the comments, but I totally agree with Brent.
I totally do too, Dave. Totally.
Okay. So we've done Faster Pussycat twice before.
Yep.
Once was, I believe it was our first episode, or it was first or second.
Episode number 2.
Second
episode. As I said, if you were listening to my facts before.
I was listening.
Vain, No Respect was our first episode.
Vain was our first one.
Hey, do you think I should take down all of the Breaking Vinyl stuff? Just make that disappear and start from just this?
That's history, man.
No, I'd leave it up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
leave it up.
I thought about
people can listen to that too if they if they're curious.
It's just a potty mouth fuck. It's a different show. It sucks.
So in that first Faster Pussycat episode, we went through the guys really fast. We had a different format. And in the second Faster Pussycat episode, it was the week of Tammy's tragedy. Oh, yeah. And we spent most of it speaking about the tragedy and going very deep into that. So we never really did any kind of a deep dive into the guys. So I'm going to fly through them as fast as I can because we have talked about them before, particularly Tammy. But let's give it a try. So we're going to start with Tammy, lead vocals and backing vocals. Why does the lead vocalist do backing vocals as well? Is that normal?
Yeah,
sometimes. Yeah. I mean, in some bands, the lead vocalist will do all the backing vocals. Like if you listen to a Led Zeppelin album, all the backup vocals are Robert Plant.
Aerosmith,
before my time.
Steven Tyler fucking does most of his.
Yeah.
But he can be there if he wants to add another layer to his thing, or just to prop up the other guys while they're.
I feel like that makes it harder to do it live, though. Because he's got such a strong, recognizable voice, Okay, anyway.
I don't think so.
Side comment.
Fine.
So his dad bought him a full-size acoustic guitar that he couldn't play as a kid because it was too big for his hands. So he put it away and instead decided to play his dad's Les Pauls, which were all around the house. He also, his dad, either borrowed or purchased a drum set for him when he was in the 7th grade. And he kind of started out more on drums because he couldn't play the guitar yet at the time. So he says borrowed because his dad eventually took the drums back. But Tammy thought they were his drums. So Tammy had painted them and put stickers all over and done all this stuff. So if those were borrowed, there's a problem for the guy that he borrowed it from. So who knows? But he switched back to guitar because he felt it was better for writing music than drums were, which I would agree with that.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And we all know that Tammy is not his real name, right?
What's his real name?
Gustav Molvik.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that.
Is that your final answer?
Yes. Yeah. So in Seattle in high school, he formed a band called the Bondage Boys. He was going under the stage name Von Hammer.
Oh, nice.
He released a song with this band called The Loser on the Northwest Metal Fest compilation, which featured 10 Seattle area bands. He would meet Lane Staley during this time, and they would be friends from there.
Oh, that's cool.
So this compilation, on this compilation also was the band Metal Church with their song Death Wish. They would go on to release their first self-titled studio album on an indie label called Ground Zero that same year, and it would become an incredible success and result in the band being signed by Elektra the next year.
Hey, Lisa, so was Tammy Down from Seattle?
He grew up in Seattle.
Okay,
he's not from Seattle, I don't think.
But we'll talk about that during the Mr. Love Dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
After kind of this whole band thing happened and the compilation happened, he left Seattle for San Diego. His mom had actually moved to San Diego. So he moved to San Diego and then eventually would move over to Los Angeles. So he arrived in Los Angeles a year after Shout at the Devil came out. So that would have been like 1984. So he missed the very, very early days of the Sunset Strip. He came in, actually kind of came in at the perfect point, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
He got a job at Retail Slut in Hollywood, the clothing store, and he also ran lights at the Troubadour, which would give him a lot of connections. In 1986, let me put this into perspective, boys, 40 years ago.
That's fucked up.
You shut your damn mouth!
You shut your mouth. Quit
it. He would become, or in the Cat House Club. He was like part owner, something like that, right? Yeah.
He would start the Cat House nightclub with Ricky. Ricky Rackman.
And this is before Headbangers Ball.
Oh, yeah.
And this is before Ricky was like a household name the way that he is now. But this connection gave him all sorts of kind of networking with Hollywood musicians and actors, including Michelle Pfeiffer and Robert Downey Jr., who are amongst his friends at the time.
That's great.
A lot of actors would hang out at Cat House and he'd wind up becoming buddies with them.
Yeah. Sure. In a recent interview, he talked about his influences growing up with music in the 70s and 80s, especially the goth bands like Gene Love's Jezebel and The Damned, mixing with other bands like Kiss and even the Jackson 5. He liked kind of mixing genres. Even when his band played, later Faster Pussycat, they would play with Gene Love's Jezebel and other bands like Specimen or Flesh for Lulu or bands like in completely other genres. And what that would do is that would each band would bring in their own like special audience. And then that audience would get to kind of experience all the different types of music. And it would basically make the shows more packed. And they said that they got their record deal. So he said that they got their record deal really quick because they were able to pack the clubs. And they were packing the clubs because they were kind of bringing three audiences together if they were playing with three bands. It wasn't like one audience that was seeing one type of music and was smaller. They brought kind of everybody. So that's how they were able to get signed quickly. The original deal obviously was not that great, not much financially. And we've heard this from lots of musicians at the time. And they would later, a lot of them, not just Eric Stacey, who's famous for saying this, but a lot of them would say their first album sounds like a demo. I loved that first album, and I loved the fact that it sounded like a demo.
Like a great demo.
Yeah. They really just wanted to go on the road and play, and that's what they got out of it. Guns N' Roses, particularly Izzy, was a good friends with them and did so much for them. And Axl actually insisted that they play opening at the Whiskey for them and took them on tour to Europe, which opened up a lot for them.
That's awesome.
He's one of the songwriters in Faster Pussycat and the main lyricist, and is extremely phenomenal at that. Big change from what happened last week with Love Hate on the lyrics that we'll hear today.
They suck.
Yeah. Down worked with Pigface, the industrial band from Chicago, who have played with at Apoptygma Berserk, which is one of my favorite bands of all time, with Trent Reznor, Moby, Gravity Kills, KMFDM, Skinny Puppy, Ministry, The Cure, Zeromancer, Frontline Assembly, My Life with a Thrill Kill Cult, everybody that I love this band played with. He would sing backing vocals on Skid Row's 1992 cover of the Ramones' Psychotherapy. And after this, he put together the industrial rock band The Newly Deads, which he wrote for and produced. In 1998, he opened his own club named the Pretty Ugly Club with co-owner J.D. Terziu. Did I get it right?
You want
Here's
to,
you.
I don't know that guy.
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yes. And the club basically achieved the same level of success as the Cat House, just in a different style of music. During the time, he was also a club promoter and a DJ. And this was kind of at the point where like Faster Pussycat had sort of faded away for about a decade or so. Not that they ever really collapsed, but that they weren't playing or recording regularly. In 2001, Faster Pussycat reunited, but in 2006, there was a fight with Brent Muscat over the name. Brent Muscat, Eric Stacey, and Brett Bradshaw were playing together under the Faster Pussycat flag, kind of claiming that it was their name. And, Tammy wanted to do kind of an industrial remake of the band. They didn't want to play industrial music. Tammy claimed that Muscat's band was a tribute band. And eventually Muscat did kind of give up after going through a legal battle.
Didn't you do like the Sin City something or other?
Sin City Sinners.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sin City Sinners.
Mm-hmm. In the first episode, I talked a little bit about his fiance at the time, Kim Birch. We told a story or two about her in that first episode, about how good she was for Tammy and how great they were together. She tragically lost her life last year. It was March 2nd, 2025, when she stepped off a private balcony and went overboard on the Royal Caribbean's Explorer of the Seas during the 80s cruise. He has since spoken publicly about the incident. So I blame alcohol and pills on it, he said. There's no way I'd touch booze. For me, that's just completely disgusting in my brain. You know what I mean? So I've got some hatred for booze because I love the hell out of Kimberly and it was just too hard to deal with. He also has said he thinks it'll be very therapeutic to go out and see a bunch of fans and a bunch of friends across the country when he did go on tour after the incident. And he did quite well from what we've seen. He's just trying to go forward as best as he could. He says it was a little tough, but it was fucking off the hook. It was really cool. It was very emotional, but it was good. And we can say from seeing him play during that time, we saw him at Kodo in Lowell, I believe it was.
Yep, last summer.
Yep. That it was a fantastic show, and
He did great.
They sounded amazing, and he has some serious strength to go on that quickly and do this. Yeah.
Yep.
I did get to talk to him. I spent maybe about 15 or 20 minutes talking to him before the show, and he seemed really happy just to be able to share music with people and talk to people about music. He was in a good mindset.
Lisa, you need to start handing out fucking VVR shirts to these people.
I know.
I want to see Tammy down in this fucking awesome Violent Radio shirt.
It would be really cool.
It's
Yeah.
a great shirt. It's a great shirt. Go buy it.
So Tammy recently fronted a lineup that included Slash, Duff McKagan, Steven Adler, and Gilby Clarke. And the band ripped through It's So Easy at the Troubadour back on March 23rd for the Rock for Jennifer loud and legendary concert. If you haven't seen it, you must go check it out. I would have killed to be at that show.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
Watch it.
They do
It's
great.
awesome.
Yeah, sounds great.
He said it was a bucket list item for him to basically front GNR, which is pretty much what he did. I didn't know this, but Gilby Clarke is one of his best friends and motorcycle riding buddy.
That's funny. That's also on my bucket list.
Faster Pussycat over the past few years has been working on new music, particularly the song Motorbike, which he did play when we saw him. Nowadays, he concentrates on writing singles, not really album music. He says, if I did an album, we'd all be dead before it came out. He's working on a book about his history. He was actually working on the book before the tragedy happened with Kim. He's now kind of turned that book into a memoir of the incident and how he's dealt with the tragedy of losing her. He said that he was originally writing the book, but was being careful because Kim was very jealous and he had to leave out a lot because of how she was reacting to some of the things that he was writing. And now he plans to put it all back in. So it should be a really interesting book.
Lisa, quick question. So I was YouTubing night before last, and I stumbled upon a really recent live LA Gun show, and I saw the new Phil Lewis.
Yeah,
man, he looks so much better since he let his hair grow out gray, or you know, like whatever his natural thing is going, like kind of this grayish, sandy,
silvery.
thing. Yeah, and he's wearing like all white with these like white combat boots and suspenders. And he just looks like Clockwork Orange. He looks so much better than when he was dyeing his hair black and trying to hold on to that thing with the goatee all dyed black. He looks fucking great. I thought it was awesome. And he sounded great. I don't remember what song they did, but it was maybe Show No Mercy or something. It was great.
He's still a dapper gentleman.
Yeah, he looks dynamite. He looks so much more British now.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So Tammy has shared that coming up, they have the Hard Rock Hell Festival in September and have some other dates planned as well, with 2 new guitarists just for this tour because Sam will be with Godsmack and Kieran has some issues with flying and traveling, being able to get out of the country, but likely not being able to get back into the country, which is why that they didn't play on the Monsters of Rock cruise. So. Ace will also join them for some shows. Ace Von Johnson, friend to the show, so that will be nice. They're going to Western Europe, UK, Spain, Germany, and Italy, and possibly Sweden, although there's no dates there yet. This would be the 40th anniversary tour, and it's happening starting in September. And, you know, I was thinking, since they're saying they're still looking for a couple of guitarists to go on this tour, Dave, I'm sure that you're available.
Why didn't they call me?
So
I'm available for Faster Pussycat anytime.
I can play any and all Faster Pussycat solos as well. So please call me. I have a blacklist ball and I'm ready to go.
Violent Vinyl Pussycat.
Well, they need 2 guitarists, so maybe it should just be you guys going.
I would like to do the Brent Muscat parts.
Okay, moving on to Greg Steele, guitarist and all sorts of other instruments. His first credited album is an album by Cindy Valentine called Rock and Roll Heart Attack, where he played drums. Did you know that?
That's so cool. No idea.
I did not know that. That was a new fact for me. He's the one who most often calls the first Faster Pussycat album a demo, saying it had no depth or production. He can't even listen to it nowadays, and he claims to have the receipts from its recording totaling $38,000 for the recording.
I've recorded a million demos, and not one of them sounded like that. That's a fucking album. Get over it. It sounds great.
I can't even listen to it.
Like, shut up. The fucking album is awesome. You suck. All right.
For this album, Whipped, he said that they didn't have a lot of ideas for the album. They would go into the studio and everyone would keep asking each other, do you have anything? And they were all like, nope. And they were going into the studio trying to write stuff. They were experimenting with a lot of different styles. They were listening to everything from Tom Petty to Ministry to NWA and Public Enemy, funk music, just to try to find out where their sound was going to go.
Should have listened to that first demo.
He also says that it's an album you won't be able to just listen to and love, that it takes time to warm up to it and understand it, which I think might be true for some people. They wove a lot of tracks and instruments and synth and guitars into the music, trying new things with the mix, even at sometimes putting the vocals to the back of the song instead of at the front, which is a different way of doing things. They've never played most of the songs on this album live, particularly Big Dictionary. Never have played it live because they didn't want to use tracks and have to do all the magic on stage. They just like to play raw. He also shared that when they were on tour a few weeks after Whipped dropped, the fans would come up to him and say, "Oh my God, you're my favorite band. When is your next album coming out?" And that's when they knew the album wasn't going to really go anywhere because people didn't even know that it had come out.
Yeah, it's out.
Yeah. Eric got kicked out or quit of the band. Greg doesn't seem to know which happened. So he's made comments that he said that he doesn't know personally whether Eric got kicked out or quit, right? So it's strange. You're in the band. You don't know. Like, yeah. Does that mean...
Maybe he was not part of the decision-making process.
That seems really strange to me. They started with a new bass player writing a song they called Blood, and they were talking to Polygram about their next album, but at the same time Tammy was moving on to industrial music and everything just kind of fell apart, and everyone is saying like they didn't really break up, but they really just kind of stopped making music together. He's done work on a lot of other albums, which I didn't know about any of these. So Arlo Guthrie had an album called Mystic Journey in 1996. He was the engineer on that album. Did you know that he became an engineer? Because he did a whole bunch.
No.
There was a project called Come Monday, and the album was On the Horizon. He was the songwriter and guitarist on this indie rock project. Green Mansions. This was like a psychedelic space rock album. He mastered that album, and he was an engineer on Armin Donnellan's Sayat Nova album as well. That's a jazz like world rock project from 2014. And he was also the engineer on Carla Del Forno's Come Around synth pop album. So coming into my genre. Greg showed up on stage with Faster Pussycat in April of 2023, alongside another guitarist who not a lot of people recognized at the time. That would be Mahalia Lucic from Lucic or Lucis. I'm not sure. Lucic. Yeah, thank you.
Is that your final answer?
No, from the band Pretty, although a lot of people didn't recognize him in 2023. Also around for the show was friend to the show, Ace Vaughn Johnson, who played with Faster Pussycat from 2009 to 2019 and is now a member of LA Guns. We saw him with LA Guns recently, and he was ripping it. It was an amazing show. Yeah. So Greg and Tammy are still friends to this day and actually talk quite often to each other. But he doesn't do a lot of other like quote unquote hair band appearances really. So
yeah, I was actually under the impression that because Sam is going on tour with a different band, I thought Greg was just coming back.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not true.
Well, he did do a long interview and says that he does still talk to Tammy, but it doesn't look to me like he's very interested in touring or anything else.
Yeah, maybe not.
I think that 2023 appearance was kind of a, hey, I'll show up for one show. And so
once in a while kind of thing rather than full time.
Yeah. Little George Lynch-esque.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to Brett Muscat. All sorts of instruments, including the sitar, which is interesting to me. He admits that without Hanoi Rock, there would be no Faster Pussycat, also no GNR, no LA Guns, and that Hanoi changed Motley's second album from their style that they had on their first.
Okay.
His first band was called Shanghai with Mark Michaels, and also his brother was in that band as well.
Shanghai Rocks?
Just Shanghai.
The rocks on the end of that?
He should be, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm feeling a little influence there.
Yeah. And there was also another guitarist in that band. His name was Taz. He, not Taz, but Brent was kicked out because Taz didn't want to share any of the money that the band was making. So he just kept buying guitars for himself with the money that he was making instead of paying the band. So, so when Brent tried to complain, they kicked him out. So he's one of the original members of Faster Pussycat. He met Tammy when he was traveling to Vegas for his punk band at the time. He was friends with these two scene girls who introduced him to Tammy over the phone in Vegas. So Tammy invited him to the Troubadour when he was doing lights. And he said when he walked into the Troubadour, it's the first time he ever saw Tammy, he said he saw this guy with huge blonde hair, makeup, high heels, a pink purse, but most of all, huge black bushy eyebrows.
It's like John Bender.
Yeah. And he wasn't even in the show. He was doing lights for this show. So he was who he was right from day one. He said that on their first meeting, they wrote the outlines to 4 of the songs for the first record just in that first night. So
that's great.
Yeah. He was in a band called Deluxe with Mark Anthony in 1994. Mark Anthony was the vocalist in that band. Interesting. Tommy T-Bone Cardona.
Not Mark Anthony, the husband of J-Lo.
No, not the Spanish music guy. No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay.
Tommy T-Bone Cardona, who's from White Lion, Alice Cooper's band, Lita Ford's band. He was on bass, and Gary Kaluza, who was in Glory Chain, which I don't recognize that band name. No, he was the guitarist. In the early 2000s, 2000 to 2004, he was a regular in LA Guns, although I don't think they ever called him a member of the band, but he played with them for several years.
He was like a touring member.
Yeah.
I saw them when he was there.
Yeah.
All right.
I had him autograph my Faster Pussycat CD.
Oh, nice. Were you able to get that off?
There was no studio album released during this time for LA Guns, but they did do that album called Rips the Covers Off, which was like a cover album, a live album kind of mixed together. And of this album, he says, I hadn't quit Faster yet. and I didn't even know they were going on tour. Phil Lewis, I think, was giving me a hard time about that. He's like, we want you to quit that band. But I was kind of like, no. Anyway, when we came back from tour, it started with that album. He said, we're going to make an album and you're going to do 10 songs and we're going to give you whatever amount of money, like around $2,500 per song. And he said, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll do that. But the next time he saw him, Phil Lewis, he said, I'm getting some of my friends to play on a song. So you'll do like 8 or 9 songs and it'll be $2,000 a song. And I was like, I thought it was going to be $2,500, whatever. I don't care that much. Fine. I'll still do it. A week went by and I went to his house to hang out. This is Phil. And then he said, my other buddy's going to play on there too. So you'll do 7 songs and you're getting $750 per song. And it kept going like that. And I started to feel a little upset. Eventually he had 3 or 4 guys booked to play on the album. I know this because he was getting friends to play for free just so that they could be on an LA Guns record. They were being really cheap, Phil and Steve Riley. By the end, I was down to 3 or 4 songs. It was $500 a song. And I just went, no, why bother? I mean, I'm not stuck up. I don't think I'm the biggest rock star ever, but I've got name value. Why would you take me off and use guys nobody knows? Not that these guys were bad. I mean, they might have been totally fine players, but you have Brent Muscat, who's been in your band and played with Faster Pussycat. Why get these guys instead and then have me play 3 songs and stick me on a record with a bunch of nobodies?
It's true. He's right.
He's right. Yeah.
Lisa, did you see Fast Pussycat at the Paradise when they on that first tour when
absolutely.
They came around? I was there too.
Long time ago. Oh my God.
So good. That was such
so
a
good.
Fucking amazing show.
We need to go into a time machine and go back to that time
I'll
again.
pick you up. I got my DeLorean out front.
Overall, Brent doesn't really have much nice to say about Phil. Mostly that Phil would do anything for money and that he's used Brent's connections to do a Japanese tour and other things. He also says he has a lot of respect for Tracy because Tracy doesn't chase money. He does what he does for the creativity and the experience. He said that after Michael Grant, we all know Michael Grant very well, friend to the show. After Michael Grant left the band, go ahead, Dave. What do you have to say?
No,
that should have been your spot.
I choose to be nice.
Your comment is that should have been your spot in LA Guns, right?
I choose to be nice.
Okay. So when Michael Grant left the band, which may have been a disagreement over money or over a girl, not quite sure which. Actually, we do know, but we won't share. This is when he was called back to LA Guns, but it never materialized as Phil sort of wandered in another direction and made some remarks about Brent's wife who has MS, saying that she may have been exaggerating her symptoms, which is a horrible thing to say. This is all from Brent's interview from Metal Rules, that 3.5-hour interview. So I have no idea if it's true. I just know that that's what Brent was saying just a couple months ago. It doesn't seem to fit from what I know of Phil, but who knows? I would learn later that Brent has sort of taken it all back, like by the end of the interview, saying that he's gone through a lot in his life and sometimes he just says things that are like knee-jerk reactions, but now they're all friends and it's water under the bridge. So take that.
Sometimes he just accuses people of making fun of the handicapped, and then it's like, oh, it wasn't really true.
It wasn't really true.
I mean, I said it on a huge, media platform. I do shit like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He sounds like somebody that likes to do a lot of shit talking.
I think he is. Yeah. Yeah. You didn't see that interview at all. Did you see what he looks like now?
I've seen more recent video with the short hair, and he looks like an accountant.
So I didn't recognize him at first. I think the video is filtered. First of all, he looks very young. But even like his facial features, I didn't really recognize him. I thought it looked like kind of flattened, and that might have been the filter. And the hair looks very cartoonish to me.
Really?
Like I was thinking of like a female Betty Boop, like with the, you know how they have the hair stuck like in the 1920s, like that look,
like the greased down parted hair.
Yes, exactly. So
I didn't see that. Maybe I saw a different picture.
This was the whole 3.5-hour video of him like this. So I had our friend Patty Dolan watch the video, at least a little bit of it, because you know how crazy of a super fan she is over Brent. Brent was like her end all be all of the world. Yeah. Right. So she watched the video and she messaged me back.
She's met all these guys.
She's met all these guys
over the years.
Oh yeah, she's
way back in the day.
more than met Brent. So Patty's a good girl. It was just a kiss. It was just a kiss. Patty, it was just a kiss. But she this was her top guy, right? So I had her watch the video. So she sends me a video reaction back, and she says, "It looks like he's got a pair of nylons over his head, like someone robbing a grocery store or something." Yeah, and I can't unsee it now.
It's so weird.
Yeah, but I think it's because of the filter or something. But
good looking guy though.
He is a good looking guy.
He's got one of those Mission Impossible rubber masks that pulled over of himself.
Well, he was one of the prettiest guys in the band back then.
He was very unique facial features, like his eyes and stuff. Yeah, he's a good looking dude.
Really is, and that's why I was a little shocked with this video. Anyway, if you're using a filter, Brent, stop it, because you're already a good looking guy. So
I'd bang him.
Yeah. So as we mentioned, in 2007, he tried to reunite the real band, which didn't work. So he ended up touring with Eric and Brett under the Faster Pussycat name, which caused a legal battle. He claims he dropped his legal claim to the name and dissolved his version of the band. He just kind of gave up on it. He would then go on to form a band called the Alley Cats 4 in 2016, which only lasted a little over a year, but actually was quite successful. It started out as a project called Cats in Boots, with him from Faster Pussycat and Slim Jim Phantom from Stray Cats. So get it? Cats in Boots, right? Yeah, good name. They also had Takashi Ohashi from Seikimai 2 in Japan. He's a huge rock star in Japan. There's a huge glam movement in Japan that never really died. So Takashi is like a big deal then. They invited Phil Lewis to sing. And Phil's reply was, "You're a nobody. You're just trying to use me." And Takashi, being from Japan and being like really a superstar at this point, was extremely insulted, which is a big deal in Japanese culture, right? So it took a lot for Brent to kind of smooth it all over. They ended up with a new singer named Zach Throne. Phil would later ask when they're all going to Japan to do this project, and seemed to think that his response was no big deal, that he said to Takashi.
He's lucky he didn't have his head removed with a katana.
Right? Yeah. So if you don't know who Takashi is, go check him out. He's like uber cool. Just a super rock star.
Cool.
By the way, anyone want to tell me how many bands are named the Alley Cats?
I'm going to say 4.
probably like 50 or so. Most of them are doo-wop 50 style bands, but yeah, there's a lot of them.
When I was a little kid, I used to read a book called Cat in Boots, and it was about this swashbuckling cat that was cool.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember that. Okay. Absolutely. Of course. In the same interview, he also mentioned that Tracy once told him not to move around on stage when he was playing with LA Guns, because he said Tracy wanted the spotlight. Yeah. Does that sound real to you?
No, it's odd.
No.
Hey, why don't you put on a shitty show so I look better? Okay, great.
Yeah. He claims both Steve Riley and Tracy have awful stories about treatment from Phil over the years, but none of them have ever shared any, so I don't know that that's true. He had some things to say about Stevie Rochelle of Tough as well, saying that Stevie twisted an interview that he did with Metal Sludge, making him look hostile to Phil when he says he doesn't hold any grudges against Phil. Well, everything I've heard of him say sounds like he is holding some of those grudges. So
yes, I agree.
Yeah, I don't think Stevie Rochelle would just force a fight on anybody. There's enough real fights that he doesn't need to force anything. Brent also formed the band Saints of Las Vegas with Anthony Serrano as the lead singer. They would only produce 2 singles, but they are still going strong today. He also has Original Sin, which was a short-lived project, kind of like a live, I guess just for like a few live shows when Sin City Sinners was offline. He even had Jizzy Pearl sing with Sin City Sinners, because what they did was they basically have kind of this revolving door of people come in. So Jizzy Pearl came and sang, Phil came and sang, they had Jeff LaBar of Cinderella, they had Chris Holmes from Wasp, and they just had people coming in to do a few songs here and there. And what that would do is people would always go to these shows, even if they did a lot of shows on like Tuesday nights and things like that, but people would go because it was like you never know who was going to like show up on stage with them. So it made like a buzz about the act. Yeah. He's also one of the characters in a book called Sex Tips from Rock Stars by Paul Miles. This was back in July of 2010. And he has a few podcasts. One was called Mondays with Muscat, and the other is called Muscat Radio. I did find some episodes available on YouTube and on SoundCloud, but it seems to have ended around 2018. Brent is a cancer survivor. He was diagnosed with oral cancer in 2005 and had a successful surgery to treat it. What is it with all these guitarists getting oral cancer? And I was asking Dave, is it because you always put those picks in your mouth?
No, picks are not harmful to your health.
But Brent's not a smoker.
You can't prove that.
Like Eddie Van Halen was a smoker, right? Yeah. Brent's not a smoker, and he's still got the same cancer. Like, you're going to tell me that there's no connection there at all with those plastic things?
People get lung cancer who don't smoke.
Yeah. I think it's genetics. You know, you got
I
the
think
gene.
it's fishy. Mm-hmm.
Some people just have the gene.
Yeah. In 2012, he would shave his head to raise money for cancer research. Yeah. So he also said that when he was diagnosed and got sick, he wasn't treated really well by Faster Pussycat. They basically ignored him. They went on tour without him. And that's one of the reasons that he formed his own version of the band, was kind of like that they had just gone out without him without even really checking on him. But he said when he did form his own version of the band, both Eric and Brett were a disaster. They were wasted all the time. They would sleep until 2. They couldn't get them onto the bus to go to the next show. He called it babysitting. So he's currently sober for almost 7 years now, claiming that drugs and alcohol were sucking up all his money. He says he feels stable. He teaches guitar to students. Imagine having Brent Muscat as your guitar teacher.
Be fun.
Oh my God. That would be so cool. He also claims he has a day job, although he wouldn't elaborate what it is. He's on social media, posts quite a bit about the old days and his new music as well. He shares fan art of himself. Apparently, he's still popular in Japan. He has a lot of Japanese fans that create these beautiful anime pieces of artwork of him, like from how he looked back in the day, but made into like anime characters, which is like super cool.
It is cool.
Yeah. So moving on to Eric Stacey. Before Faster Pussycat, he was in a band called Darling Cruel. I actually like that name, Darling Cruel. That's
pretty
a cool name. They were signed by Polygram. They were managed by Vicky Hamilton, who was also managing then unknown Guns N' Roses and also Faster Pussycat at the time. He attended a barbecue at Vicky's house with all the guys. Imagine going to a barbecue and like Guns N' Roses is there and Faster Pussycat's there.
Sounds like a good fucking barbecue.
Oh my God.
We're doing this every Saturday?
Yeah. So at the end of this barbecue, bassist Kelly Nichols at the time from Faster Pussycat, right, had gotten on his motorcycle and left. No one thought anything of it. The rest of the band got into a car to go to their practice space. He says he didn't think anything of it. He said bye to everyone and everything was fine. But later that night, he was brought into a call with Vicky and Tammy and Greg, where he was asked to fill in because Kelly had gotten into a devastating motorcycle accident that evening. Basically, the 2-week fill-in where Kelly was supposed to come back, right? The 2-week fill-in turned into months, and Elektra decided to sign Faster Pussycat because they finally liked the rhythm section in the band. Right. Poor Kelly was not expected to walk again at the time. And when the hospital couldn't contact his family because Kelly Nichols is not his real name. Right. So they actually couldn't find his family. They asked Tammy to sign a form to allow them to amputate his leg. And crazy. Tammy was like, no fucking way. Right. They would end up saving his leg. And after about 6 months, he was able to walk with a cane. And that's when he joined LA Guns. But good for fucking Tammy, right? For like basically forcing them to do their job and like to save his leg, which they should have been doing to begin with. Yep. But yeah. So the band, and like Vicky was known to be this manager of bands where she would prepare them for something bigger. So she did this for Guns N' Roses. She did this for Faster Pussycat. In a way, she kind of did this for LA Guns.
Crew, Poison.
Yeah. So when they left Vicky for a bigger manager, Brent actually shared that they cut her a check for $30,000, and they didn't have to do that. They did that because she was just such a good person, a good manager, and gave
Right thing to
to
do.
everybody, you know, and $30,000 back in, well, whatever it was, 1986, I think
Probably
it was.
about 60 now.
Yeah, it was a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Eric was educated at Berkeley, Dave, just like you.
All right.
Did you know that?
Oh, shit.
He actually studied theater and choreography.
Oh.
So, yeah.
But they didn't have that.
Nope, that was at a different college. Nope, but he studied guitar, not bass guitar at Berkeley, and then went on to another Boston area school to study theater and choreography.
Like Emerson or Northeastern or something like that.
I think he's a great bass player.
Yeah, due to his education, he seems to have felt like he was more musical than the other guys. He would say, I would say they sounded like a bunch of guys who saw Johnny Thunders a year ago and said, I can do that, and picked up guitars. Yep. So I'd been playing for like 13 years, and these guys had literally started playing 2 years prior to the band.
Yeah.
Wow. He also shares that when they were signed, it was supposed to be a $75,000 deal, but they partied too hard on their celebration show and ended up with the company offering them only $35,000 after that bad show. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He did step away from music for many years due to addiction and relationship issues. He shares that in 1988, he lived with Nikki Sixx. After a lot of partying and a stint in rehab, that's how they got the tour with Motley Crue Dr. Feelgood, which was the Wake Me When It's Over kind of time frame. I think it's the Girls, Girls, Girls video where he does a bunch of shoulder rolls down the stage. This is Nikki Sixx. Do you remember that part where he like rolls down the stage? And he has a black Spectre bass. Mm-hmm. He says it's that same bass. He gave me that bass after the record was over, and I ended up taking it on tour for Wake Me When It's Over. So he was playing Nikki Sixx's bass for that tour. Cool. Yeah. He had a bumper sticker on the bass that he put on it. He left it on for the whole tour. And the bumper sticker said, a dirty mind is a terrible thing to waste. He also used the bass to record the first album for Faster Pussycat. So
cool.
He shares that the grunge movement was a shock. He said they were out on a huge tour with Kiss when they got a call, and they were told to enjoy it as it would be their last. Elektra had dropped them during the tour. He was not interested in the industrial style that Tammy was moving forward with. After Faster Pussycat, Dave, I think you mentioned this, he started a band called Rhythm Slaves with friend to the show, Patrick Muzingo from Junkyard, and Brian Damage from Kix, which was intended to be a Stones like Rolling Stones blues band, or like the Black Crowes or something like that. He claims he basically stopped showing up to Faster Pussycat and had gotten into a physical fight with Greg while Tammy was throwing Jack Daniels bottles at them.
Oh, no.
He was on a lot of drugs. The band was doing interviews saying that they fired him, and he was then fired from the Rhythm Slaves due to some infighting, and they ended up changing their name to Catfish. I like Rhythm Slaves better than Catfish, but
yeah, me too.
At the same time, his girlfriend locked him out of his condo and broke up with him, so he ended up moving to New York. He would float around New York playing with lots of different musicians, including Sammy Yaffa. There's a name we just recently talked about. And when that didn't work, he came back to LA and joined the Liberators with Phil Lewis, who eventually fired him as well. Nice. He then joined Angels in Vain. This is VEIN, Angels in Vain, and also played in Jet Boy. He also had a project called Bubble with Cher Peterson, Brent Muscat, Bam from Dogs D'Amour, and they were very popular in Japan in 2001, and you can see some YouTube videos of that project. One of my favorite quotes from him comes from an interview in 2022 when he talks about the recording of the first album, and he says, you know what? No matter how long we're on this planet, this record's going to outlive us and be around forever.
Lisa, are you going to skip over the fact that we're doing Angels of Vain in the Should They Have Made It episode?
It's a different band.
It's a different band.
No, is it?
Yes.
It's a different
That's
band.
why I said it's VEIN, not VAIN.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I got you. The devil's in the details. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So sadly, if you look at social media, you'll see he's gone kind of sideways. He claims on his social media he's an armed patrol officer in LA and works security in Las Vegas, as well as having a podcast, which I was unable to locate, but I'm sure I wouldn't like it because his whole entire social media is full of garbage propaganda.
Nice.
Sometime in 2020, his social media went from showcasing his music and everything that he's done over the years to a sad sense of just nonsense garbage. So now for Brett Bradshaw, of course, there always has to be a sad part, right?
There we go.
Yeah. So he died unexpectedly on March 26, 2021, originally from Connecticut. His first band was a stint in Blackboard Jungle, which we took a look at
We did.
months ago, I think it was. But we heard one of their songs, right?
I don't remember.
You don't remember Blackboard Jungle?
What?
They were great.
I don't
I've
remember.
heard of them.
I picked them. It was in the Should They Have Made It segment.
Okay.
Oh,
The video was on the roof, remember?
Yeah.
Skinny
It
guy
was
with
in
no
the
shirt.
it was on the Poison Open Up and Say
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
If you need to go back and re-listen.
He doesn't.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll do that for sure.
Yeah. So he started in Faster Pussycat in 1990, replacing Mark Michaels due to his drug issues, until it's sort of falling apart in 1993, not really ending, but just kind of they're fading away. He was also in a project called Soul Stretch with Michael Reed, Daryl Priesto, and Rory Willis. He played in a band called Black Rain, which was an Aussie tribute band, and in a band called the Underground Rebels, which included members of the Blue Man Group. There's a new one, Marky Ramone, and they seem to have dissolved in 2020. He also taught drums and mentored young musicians. He had a son, Tyler Bradshaw, also a drummer, and the mother of Tyler is Rhonda Brill. He has two daughters, Cheyenne and Lucas Sparrow, with mother Amy Sparrow. At the time of his death, and for quite a long time after that, no cause of death was revealed. In fact, you couldn't find anywhere with what happened to him. But in the recent 3.5-hour Brent Muscat interview,
This is why you listen to the
this is
whole
why I
3.5
listened to the
hours.
whole
right?
thing. Brent Muscat did reveal that both Brett and Eric had awful issues on tours with drinking and drugs, often being able to wake up in the morning after shows. He claimed that Brett had burned out his brain with drinking and drugs, that he could still play drums, but that everything else was a struggle for him. He shared that, sadly, Brett suffered an overdose. He was 51. He wasn't 50, he was 51.
Oh,
So,
man.
yeah.
Oh, I saw 50 where I
Well, 50,
the
51,
obituary.
too young. But I believe that the family had wanted to keep that a secret and had not released it publicly ever. But
purpose.
Brent just blurted it right out in this 3.5-hour interview.
Brent
which-
Muscat's a yenta. Don't tell this guy anything.
Yeah.
Spilled the deets.
I mean, he seems to just say everything about anyone. So,
Got
yeah.
a secret. You want to
wonder.
hear it?
Ask Brent. We'll just talk to Brent. He'll tell us.
Shit, man. All right. So is that what we got?
That's what we got.
All right. Let's do some opening thoughts on this album. I will get it started. So this would be the last offering from Faster Pussycat's original lineup. And unlike a lot of these final albums we're going to get from other bands that just suck, like there's so many of these albums that these bands put out that start like last hurrah before they get dumped, and they're just not good. They never capture the magic of any of their best albums. This one does capture the magic of some of their, their first two albums. Is it as good as the first two? Gonna find out. Dave.
Yes, I have listened to this one before. I didn't have it back in 92, but when I started collecting CDs like crazy in my 20s, this was one of them. I probably got it later on in the 90s. I've always been a big fan of their first album and felt like the second one, fell off a little bit, wasn't quite as good. And this third one fell off even more. My personal iTunes has the songs on this album all rated at 1 or 2 stars out of 5.
Oh no.
Except for one that I had rated at 3 stars. So maybe my opinion will have changed from a new listen. We will see.
Lisa.
Absolutely. I heard this one before. I was a huge fan of Faster Pussycat. I think I've shared that 1,000 times. In my head, I feel like I listened to this album less than I did the previous two, because at the time I had nearly shifted completely to goth and industrial and electronic music. However, a couple bands did stick with me. Faster Pussycat and LA Guns did come along for the ride. But I guess we'll see in a minute how that's going to go for me. I predicted that I wouldn't have the muscle memory that I had for the other albums. I was busy. This was a weird time in my life. I was in college full time. I was working full time. There were some traumas happening around me. I was dating musicians. Time was a precious resource.
That was the trauma.
That was the trauma. And kind of some of that time was a bit of a blur to me. I didn't have time for MTV anymore. And MTV was kind of shifting too. It was moving into like reality TV instead of music at the time. I did listen to music because I was working for Sam Goody, but I can tell you this, Sam Goody wasn't playing Faster Pussycat or really any music that I liked at all. It was like pop Billboard while I was there. I didn't even have time for like those big venue shows anymore. I was going to the clubs, but when I was going to the clubs, I was going to the goth clubs and seeing the industrial bands and things like that. You weren't going to see Faster Pussycat at Man Ray, and that's where I was. I'd kind of left glam behind at this point.
Yeah, my muscle memory was very strong on this one. All three of these albums, they're albums that I dust off and play all the way. And like I had said before, I picked this. I had listened to this twice before it even came up for my turn. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick it. So very strong.
Well, I said I didn't think I would. So before I listened, I didn't think I would have the memory, but we're going to see what actually happened.
Gotcha. Okay, I like cliffhanger, like Batman. I like it. Okay, let's rate the singer. As always, it's going to be 25% on hair, 25% on style and stage presence, and 50% on vocal talent. So I think Tammy even got cooler on this album because he got black hair, right? Got straight black hair. He looked fucking great. Outfits were still on point, doing a lot of, velvet and stuff on this one. His vocal style and lyrics were still on point, kicking ass, near the top of the game for me for this genre of music. And I do want to stress that I am aware, technically, he is not a great singer. But in this case, there's more to it than just that. There's more to it than just technical ability when it comes to Tame Me Down, in my opinion. So I am going, this is so bad. I'm going to say 99. So there you go, 99. There's a lot. It's too much, but fuck it. I don't care because I know Dave's not going to go there. Dave, what do you got?
All right. I'm going to give him a 22 on hair, dyed black. It looks cool. 23 on style. As always, he looks great. I watched a couple live videos from late 92 after the album came out. He's wearing, leather jackets and scarves on his mic still, cut off t-shirts, maybe a cool hat. Gonna give him a 28 on vocals. Pretty consistent, sounds good as usual, and cool lyrics. Not much has changed for his ability. For their second album, I gave him a score of 69. This time I'll bump it up to 73. Because I like this guy. He really figured out his vibe, and even though the band wouldn't last much longer before they broke up, he is super cool. He's still out there doing his thing today. I saw on Facebook the other day he had just put up a post that he celebrated 9 years smoke, drug, and alcohol free. That is a great accomplishment, and we're very proud of this guy.
Yeah, especially for a guy that smoked like he smoked.
Yeah, like crazy.
Like he loved
even on stage.
Like everywhere, like in the shower, like while he was eating, probably.
Yeah.
Fucking loved it. Yeah, I mean, it's a 3-album body of work that is really good. Like you listen to a lot of these bands, you're not going to consistently get choruses and like it's just consistent over 3 albums. Junkyard, also very good. Lisa.
So what did I give him on the last episode?
The last one, you had a 97 for his score.
Oh my God,
too.
you're not gonna believe what I gave him.
97.
So, well, we're about to find out. So
0.5?
in 1992, we got a darker, more industrial Tammy. He finally dyed his hair black and kind of rounded out his look, even from what we know today. Kind of. some of the live footage in 92 to 93, they almost look like a grunge band, but Tammy kept that industrial edge. And he would be moving much further into the industrial music scene as Faster Pussycat started to collapse. By 1994, he was firmly in his new industrial project, Pigface, and he was like full on industrial god. My favorite look for him. I feel like 1992 may have been a little bit of a transitional year, not just for music and fashion, but everybody was trying to figure out where the looks were going to go. The glam music and the big hair were gone. He did keep the vinyl pants and some of the leather. So there's good, there's good in this. There's a video from 92 in Missouri where they do Nonstop to Nowhere and the band just looks ultra cool. They look less like 80s rock stars, which tracks with what was going on, but they just look amazing. Can't forget to mention that he's an incredible songwriter and lyricist, even still today. He sounds fantastic, and I believe that the drug problems were in full swing at this time when this album was happening. He catches your attention. He pulls you on stage. And I've heard that Tammy has been a bit shy, especially during the drug years. He would even I think I told a story in the first time we did Faster Pussycat, where the first, a lot of the shows I went to, we would be hanging out with the band. A friend of mine was dating someone in the band. He would never come out and talk to us. He would hide in the tour bus. And if he was going to come out to the stage, everybody was ushered out of the green room so he could come through. He was kind of kept to himself guy. But then, in recent years, I've spent some time talking to him. He's just glowing. Like the time that he spent with Kim, and Kim helped him clean himself up. Kim helped him kind of get himself back together. A horrible loss when losing her. But he's glowing now. He's healthy. He's friendly. He's kind. He was just super fun to talk to. I don't even think he realizes what a treasure he is and what a rock star he is, because he was just like this humble guy. And I was like, man, I'm sitting here talking to an icon, and you wouldn't even have known it.
That's cool.
So, and of course, he can still sing. You can find videos on my social media at Fallen Angel. That's AINGEL. Lots of Faster Pussycat videos there. And I gave him a 97.1.
I love it. Dave, what did I give him the first time? I'm curious.
Very first time?
Yep.
Let me see. You gave him a 95.1.
And then the second time?
The second time was, if I can find it, you gave him a 100.
No, okay. Fucking whore for this guy. Okay.
Totally.
Add it up and tell us where he lands.
Okay. On the Violent Vinyl Screamer, are we calling it front woman Screamer leaderboard? What are we calling it?
Fuck the woman thing. We did one woman thing. Just call it the fucking Screamer.
The Screamer leaderboard.
Sure.
Tammy Down, and this is 1992's Whip era, comes in at number 8 with a total score of 89.70, putting him just below Sebastian Bach and just above Vince Neil.
I love that. That's fine. It's fine. It's great. Fucking system did not fail us today. Fucking misogynistic asshole. Fuck the woman thing. What the fuck is wrong with me? Fucking dickwad. All right, so let's get into some tracks and thoughts. Let's begin our album Autopsy.
Oh, Lisa Bella in the house.
Lisa Bella. Okay, track number 1, Nonstop to Nowhere. So this is one of my all-time favorite ballads, and honestly one of my all-time favorite songs from this genre. Faster Pussycat, they reach new heights on this one, and the addition of these female vocals perfectly mixed in with Tammy's vocals, it just really, really worked. It makes this chorus absolutely pop. It's incredible. I could not love this song any more than I do. It's fucking awesome. Dave.
Nonstop to Nowhere has a video, and it was released as a single and reached number 35 on Billboard's mainstream rock track chart. I have a promo single of this one in my iTunes with 3 different edits of the song. Find it if you can. This one appeared as a bonus track song on the old Breaking Vinyl show in episode 27.
It did.
It ended up at number 18 out of 34 total entries, with Des scoring at 85.7 and Dave at 78 out of 100. With Ed's score 45 and Fee's score 72. Those scores added to it, the average came out to 70.18.
Fee's score is fair.
Fucking 45.
Looking at the chart, I saw Seamus's name on there as having requested a different bonus track. Seamus, are you still with us, brother? I hope you still listen. Right in, so. Seamus. By the way,
I think we lost Seamus. I think that Seamus, Fee and Ed got him in the divorce.
Yeah.
So by the way, keep those comments and messages coming in. We want to hear from all our listeners.
I love Seamus. I wish he was still with the show. I really do. But
so back to the song. We get a building cinematic opening. The girl group of background singers sound nice, especially up front, but I'm not sure it was the right move to put them right at the beginning of the song.
I disagree.
But the feel is pure Pussycat once everything kicks in. Good lyrics, even though it sounds pretty melancholy. Tammy is up to his old tricks, bending and shaping his phrases to fit in a great way. The middle section gets a little heavier. Definitely does not feel like an almost 7-minute song. But that being said, they probably could have tightened it up a little, which they did with, for example, the video edit. I love the sound and feel. This is also the longest song on the album, which is a little strange for the single to be the longest one. The video, as I said, uses a short edit, 4 minutes, 11 seconds, which cuts the long intro and the bridge. The video looks great. Tammy's riding in a car. Looks like the band is playing on something like the Lost Boys Pier. Lit up by freaky green, red, and purple lights. Perfect look for the band. Tammy is like super goth at this point. Surprisingly, they did not go for a train theme for the video, but maybe that was, too easy, too low-hanging fruit.
Glad they didn't.
Did you notice, speaking of Lost Boys, the very last shot in the video is someone dropping off a bridge in a shot that looks quite similar to the movie?
Yep.
Was that a homage or someone just jumping off a bridge from being depressed, or both? I love the song, but it sort of does make you sad. I've upgraded it from my in my iTunes from 3 stars up to 4.
It's a great out of 5.
Yes.
Okay, as long as it's not 1 through 10. Lisa, female voices right out of the gate. How does that work for you?
I love it. I think Dave's wrong about this. I thought it was beautiful.
I wanted to hear the band rather than
the
girl. The girl singers were like a spice, which would have been was great when they added it in later on in the song, but I don't know.
One of my first comments, and I'll just jump right into that, is that I love how the female vocal lyric flows into the hook, and I actually wrote the lyrics down. I can't sing, and especially because I have a cold today, but we've got that. I've got a first-class ticket on the Nonstop to Nowhere, where it takes me, I don't know, and I guess the tracks you lay are your own, they go up, and it's fucking
beautiful, gorgeous.
So this is their 3rd album, and I completely expected a long creative intro for this first song because it's their 3rd album. Sure. And that's one of the reasons I liked the female vocalist coming in, because it was different and creative and artistic. And this was a time in music in 92 where people were trying all sorts of different things. And I think that was a great idea.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's just that I wonder if that was the right move.
For me, it's like what did we call it? The comfortable blanket when we were listening to Dawkins. This hook for me is that happy, comfortable blanket that I remember.
It's a great hook.
Yeah.
It's a great chorus. I love it.
And I even said that I don't go back to this album super often, and I actually didn't think I would remember it well. but I remembered every note, every single note, every way that he twisted the lyrics. I remembered absolutely everything. And, I should start with the lyrics because we're talking about Tammy. The lyrics in this song are beautiful and such a refreshing difference from what we had from last week's Love Hate album. Their music needed something like this to make it special, I do notice there are so many woven vocals on the song, singing over each other. Sometimes you have to strain to hear where the main vocal is because they bury it and then they bring it back out. It's really different. Beautiful bridge here that changes the feeling of the song. It makes it angry. You called it melancholy. I'll go with melancholy, angry, song, dark. Yeah. And actually the video where the guy was jumping off the bridge, I believe the bridge was like a train bridge, right? That a train would go over. Yeah. And I was thinking it was like, this is the nonstop to nowhere. He's got nowhere else to go. And he jumps off the bridge. I don't know. But I didn't even come up with the Lost Boys thing. So
that's it. Yeah. Just the angle of it. Yeah. Reminded me of that.
Yeah. The guitar tone feels a little bit like Slash's guitar tone. I don't know why that is, but these guys all knew each other. I mean,
Les Pauls and Marshalls.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
Top pickup.
They give the guitar solo so much space, and it resolves beautifully back into the intro lyrics, which are repeated again. And then we get this beautiful play out where we have Tammy's layered vocals, we have the beautiful female background vocals, and surprise, surprise, a little bass solo in there too, which has a lot of feeling in it. I can't love this song more. It's an incredible start to the album. It's unfortunate this album was buried in the chaos of what was 1992, because it deserved so much more. And I think you said it was number 90 on the chart. I'm happy that it charted at all in 92 because of what was happening in music, but it deserved a much higher spot, I think. And the video, of course, I love it because you said it yourself. Tammy was pure goth in this. He was like the industrial god. He was already there. And, his musical style was going that way anyway. And just seeing him with this glam band and this new style, MTV was dying. And this just made me hang on a little bit, The rest of the band, by the way, who don't have the industrial look, they still do have the ultra cool look. They have like the Hanoi Rocks look still almost. They have like the Choir Boys look. Fuck you, Gary Ivan. And fuck you, Paul Guerin. Yep.
Every episode, I love it.
Exactly. And this video made me long for the days of like real glam. It was in 92. I even already felt that it was like a time that we weren't going to get back. Right. So, yeah. Why did this music ever die? People have terrible attention spans. I can't understand it.
Yeah, Lisa, it was the way this was produced where they were kind of dialing Tammy in and out, his mean vocal and mixing it with those beautiful female vocals is why this album is number 90 on the US Billboard 200, because they knew for this song, he just wasn't good enough to carry it on his own, not get what we got. Like you needed a crutch to make this thing really cross the finish line and become a song that was going to pull this album from what could have been not at all charted to something that actually broke the top 100. So
get played on pop radio.
Yes. And, with those scratchy, Hollywood sleaze vocals, just, headlining this song, it was not going to get there. Nope. All right. Track number 2, The Body Thief. So I really, like Lisa, you were saying, I love this heavier version of Faster Pussycat. We get this killer rhythm section here where it is obvious that Eric and Brett have elevated their game from the first 2 albums. It's fucking, dude, it is killer. It is killer. Great vocals here where Tammy starts experimenting with some different effects. You're going to start seeing the direction he's going to go in after this album, kind of in little spots on this album where he's experimenting. And, we're going to get half of the verses here where he's going to, totally crunch up his vocals with this effect. sounds really, really cool. But what I loved about it was he didn't just hammer it the whole song. He dialed it in and out with his old style, and that's what made it really work for me. Great lyrics. We get some heavy guitars. My only knock is the solos. They are a little weak and wonky on this. And I'm going to expand on why I think the solos on this album are a downgrade from the previous two albums, in my opinion. But I'll expand on it in the next song because it really starts to glare a little bit for me there. Dave.
There is a video for this one that I had never seen before, and it was released as a promo single. Well, this is a little different for the band. It's almost groove metal. Reminds me just a little bit of Skid Row's Monkey Business, in that most bands of this time were reaching for a heavier sound.
Yeah.
I'm assuming since Tammy is King Goth at this point, the title is taken from the Anne Rice book. But first spin through the video, it looks like the song is more about serial killers rather than vampires. The video looks good, all black and white, which was trendy at the time. Some cinematic elements, some band performance, moody lighting, and everything. According to YouTube comments, this video was rejected by MTV. I'm assuming for the violent implications of the subject matter. The video itself is really good with many compelling visuals. Yes, according to the lyrics, it looks like the song is referencing the crimes of Jeffrey Dahmer, which was very recent news at the time this song was written. The lyrics also mention Ed Gein, whose crimes happened in the 1950s. Then we go on to find out it's a tour of serial killers in the lyrics, also looking like, to me, alluding to Ted Bundy, Zodiac Killer, and Charles Manson. Spacey guitar solo, which I thought fit pretty well with the song. The chorus, I thought, went too long at the end and should have been tightened up a little bit. But I have upgraded it in my iTunes from 2 stars to 3 out of 5.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this serial killer theme is going to continue on as we go. Going to this next song. Lisa.
I love the opening of this song. Great guitar riff, much darker and heavier. I love the affected vocals for Tammy in the beginning, which plays beautifully into the advent of industrial music and where he was going at the time. And I think that's where that came from. There's some layered vocals again on this. And, you know, this is one of the bands that hung on for me because they stuck their toe into industrial music. So I know I keep harping on the lyrics, especially because of what happened in the last episode. But just reading the lyrics on these songs hits me in the no places. Tammy just keeps growing as a songwriter and a lyricist. And the band, like, helping him to write the music for these songs is the perfect mix. The way he tells a story, it's hard work, and it's a very specific talent and very creative. I love the hook in this song. It's so dark and twisted. And coming out of the chorus, we get this beautiful like metal pre-chorus. It almost feels like Guns N' Roses without like the bad reputation of Guns N' Roses. We have that answered vocals. You're just the body thief, just a body thief, right?
Like so
good.
Oh,
it's so perfect. Every verse in the song is dark and perverted in like the horror movie sense. Teddy scared my mother and the collegiate debutante.
So good.
Clicked the switch and watched him twitch. We fried the bastard raw. Jeff's got one foot in the closet, one hand in the cookie jar. That ain't Palmolive you're soaking in. It's the flesh remover sauce. How do you write like that?
I'm going out tonight and I'm going to get in a fight.
Right? Like
there's a big gap there, people.
Oh God, these lyrics are just they're so incredible.
Incredible, dude. When you said it out like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I read through them and I was like, This is it's perfectly Tammy. It's so perfect.
Descriptive.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Now, I think the guitar solo in this is beautiful. And there's like this funk bass playing behind it. And you have like sleaze and funk at the same time, which is really different. 2 guitars really thicken it up. And you mentioned earlier, Des, that you wanted the Brent Muscat parts when you joined Faster Pussycat.
Yes.
I can't tell them apart. Are they drastically different?
Brent Muscat's a little bluesier, a little more feel, and Greg Steele is a little more of the powerhouse.
Yeah, I think they play slightly different, and according to the Wikipedia entry, the lead guitar is sort of split up
Yeah.
between the two of them. It tells you what tracks each one plays on, but it's not like you can hugely tell the difference.
On the first album, I thought
subtle.
you could, though. I thought on the first album, you could really tell the two apart. And then as these albums progressed, they started getting closer and closer in style. And then, like you said, it started just becoming not so obvious.
So I love that they're keeping these songs longer to give them some space. And if we remember what was happening at the time, you know, the Jane's Addiction style was in, and that's where you're getting this kind of maybe spacier guitars and things like that. People were trying new stuff. You don't want to always play the same thing, right? So, I mean, we kind of have a standard arrangement. I mean, you can identify a chorus in the way he writes his songs and things like that, but he kind of twists it up a bit. They have that weird industrial fade out at the end with kind of like machinery. So good to bring the industrial stuff into the glam world. I'd forgotten how much I love this album, and this song makes me wish they did a follow-up rather than breaking apart in 1993. And if they had gone more industrial and stayed together instead of having Tammy going off and doing his own thing, I think it would have been absolutely brilliant. Now, the video, I have zero memory of the video on MTV. You've just explained to me why.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was turned down.
Yeah, I'd never seen it before.
Yeah. So black and white imagery, creepy stuff, horror movie. We don't get much visibility of the band as a group in this video. Instead, we get like the individual members shown in like a dark silhouette, almost like they were recording on different days or something, and they didn't have a visual of them all together, which I found was really strange. But they were all in weird places back then. There was a lot of drugs, so maybe they really did record this all separately. And I also think, money was an issue back in 92 when the record labels didn't want to put a lot of money into the bands. So I'll bet this video didn't really cost them a ton of money to make, which was smart at a time when MTV was like basically dying. I do like that they kept to the theme of the song, which, was like creepy, killers and all that. So, yeah.
All right, coming in at track number 3. Jack the Bastard. So this one has always been one of my favorite songs off this album. We get more killer bass and drums. And again, we get a heavier Faster Pussycat here. Tammy is right on his game here with dark lyrics and great vocals. Greg and Brent have some great riffs going on in the rhythm sections, but the solos have devolved from the previous albums. And I think this is because these guys are, like I had said, just previously, these are blues guitar players and they're trying to play heavier and they're trying to experiment with new stuff. And it's just kind of missing the mark for me. I don't think it's bad, but I mean, you think of like these solos they were playing that were just like memorable. And as you're listening to them, your mind is like locked onto every note because you know it so well because they're so melodic and they're so creative. And they're kind of missing that on this album. That would be my only knock. But what they're doing is fine. They're good players. Dave.
Rockin' opening. First lyric line. Meet Jack the Bastard. He's born without a face.
So good.
Okay. That's definitely intriguing. Please tell me more.
Jack the Ripper, right?
I don't know.
That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
I get the feeling Tammy was watching lots of monster movies, and I kind of got an Edward Scissorhands vibe from the lyrics, which came out in 1990. We could have gotten more story because I looked at the lyrics and it tells you a little bit, but it doesn't really give you lots and lots of details. I feel like he could have gone deeper into a story there. But the music is pretty solid. I did not love the guitar solo here. I felt like that they phoned it in.
Yes,
dude. It wasn't bad playing. It was just like uninspired.
Dave, that's what I said to Lynn. I go, all these guitar solos are not bad. They just sound uninspired and mailed in.
Yeah.
Like these guys knew it was over and they're like, fuck it. That's my solo.
Do you think it was somewhat of the drugs too? And
It could be. I mean, they could have just been fucking wasted. And
Dude, there were moments where I questioned on this album if this was even Brent Muscat and Greg still playing these solos. So they just don't sound like the same two guys from the first album. I'm not hearing it.
the bass player picked up the guitar.
Seriously, dude, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I would not recognize these solos as these two players.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird.
So yeah, Jack the Bastard, I upgraded in my iTunes from 2 stars to 3.
All right, so this thing is growing like fucking Gary Coleman.
What you talking about, Willis?
So what do you got?
so the opening to this one, it's a little more like their previous album. So we're back to the sleaze, much less industrial. Tammy's vocals come in at a super low register that's like so creepy. He does eventually bring it up to what I would call his quote unquote normal register, which is kind of that higher end. This is so dark. It reminds me a tiny bit of Where There's a Whip, There's a Way. Great pre-chorus. Tammy is a master of the pre-chorus. And the guitar melody when Tammy sings that oh no, 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 that part, it's one of the most memorable riffs on the album.
Oh,
for me.
no, no, no. So good.
Yeah, so good. Thick bass coming through here. There's almost bass licks through the song, like the bass player is doing tricks, which is different for me. Pretty rare on a sleaze album, but we have to look at this. Maybe this isn't a sleaze album. It's more funk. It's more industrial. It's more something else. The lyrics, the lyrics on this one are shorter. The lines are shorter, more like punk in its delivery, but no less complex. And he's not, just rhyming a couple words together like we saw last week. We have some repetition in the choruses here, but even though there are less lyrics in this one, it doesn't read as an incomplete thought or something like that. I mean, these short lines, he's a manic Mayday, he's another Attila the Hun, someone pissed in his Wheaties, no picnic for the father and son. Those are short lines, but they're still creative and strange and like sentences you've never heard in English before. Simple but effective. Creepy guitar solo on this one. It starts up and it stays more metal than glam. I almost thought it would fit on a Metallica album if they could have actually played this way. They're definitely coming into a heavier sound, and I don't know if it's their choice or just the way the music industry was going. But it's not the sleaze albums of the sleaze arrangements of the previous albums. They're growing as artists, they're growing as musicians, and I'm here for it. Love the stick ending. How was this album any less beloved than the other two? I don't know.
For me, it's not. Dude, this kind of like, I feel like this is what Love Hate thought they did. Like, I feel like they thought they made this record, and they didn't.
They didn't.
But you know what? You said pre-choruses. You're so right. The master of the pre-chorus. There's one coming up a few songs from now that for me is just like Woody time. And on a lot of these metal albums that we do, these hair metal albums, we're always saying, I was struggling to hear the bass. This is so bass and drums forward.
Yeah.
Like they mixed this album because they knew it was a great rhythm section. So they pushed this shit way up front. And I'm glad they did because he is just shy of playing lead bass on this album.
Yeah.
So good though. So good.
I don't think I've heard, a bass player play licks throughout a song the way that we're hearing on this album before.
Yes.
You would hear it after this album, but you wouldn't have heard it before.
Such a great bass sound. He has such a great bass sound. It's like he's playing these funk bass lines, right? But he's not doing it with the funk thin sound that we heard on that Love Hate album last week. He's doing it with a punchy rock and roll bass sound, and it just makes it work. It makes it really work. All right, coming in at track number 4, Big Dictionary.
Thanks, Paul.
Got it. All right, so we get some bluesy Pussycat here, right? With a hint of Aerosmith. And I say that because I can hear Steven Tyler singing this song. Like, this is like Love in an Elevator, any of these, Aerosmith songs from that era. And I think if Steven Tyler sang this song, it would be fucking kick ass. The bass and drums are the star of the show here once again, but on this track, they're really the star of the show. Like, listen to the beats he's playing, listen to these fucking licks that Eric Stacey is playing. It's brilliant. It's really, really good. And the horns and the harp. I mean, it's good. It's solid. It's a little stiff. It's not the best I've heard. I've heard it better on Aerosmith albums. I've heard, this harp and stuff done better on Junkyard albums. There's going to be some songs coming up. That Friends song. I've heard these songs done better by Junkyard bands with, better guitar players and better players, but it's fine. This one has a really lackluster guitar solo. And again, it's not bad, but we got into some bluesy Faster Pussycat here, and I wanted to revisit some of these licks that they were presenting on the first album because it really belonged here. It just wasn't there. I'm a little disappointed with both of these players up to this point. Dave.
This one was obviously inspired by Aerosmith's cover of Big 10-inch that was written in the 1950s. Ballsy that they would try to match that song, but respect to them for writing something new instead of just doing a cover tune.
Yes.
Not liking the music on this one. It sounds like when Poison tries to play the blues.
Yes.
Very white bread. In fact, if you think about it, I can totally hear Poison doing this song in my brain as an extra track on a greatest hits album.
Yep.
This one is credited to Brent and Greg Steele for music and Tammy for lyric writing. I don't know. Are we sure Bret Michaels didn't write it? The lyrics are clever, of course, but the music I am not digging. The added blues harp and horns do not save it. And I'm sticking by my 1-star iTunes review on this song.
Dave, I think that's really fair. Like I said, it was stiff. It didn't have the soul. It didn't feel like Aerosmith to me. Like you said, it felt more like Poison trying to do Aerosmith. But when you got bands like Junkyard doing songs like Slipping Away, you are getting that authentic feel that they're going for because they're better players.
Oh, so, yeah. I mean, Junkyard is certainly way more blues qualified.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. So I agree with you on that 100%. Not one of my favorite songs on the album. Lisa.
I disagree with both of you.
No. Go to bat. Up to bat, Lisa.
I love the dual guitars and harmonica and flute in the beginning. We have the bass really forward on this song again. This song is obviously just meant for fun. And I'm going to say it again, we're going to go a bit funky again, maybe even into the areas of like, those Poppy Jane's Addiction songs back in the day. That's where this fits into me. The lyrics on this song are pure genius. The delivery on the hook couldn't have been done by anyone else. She just loves me for my big dictionary. She wants my vocabulary complete from A to Z. Like, beautiful. There's a spoken word part in the song that leads into the solo, which becomes eventually a harmonica solo. Perfectly placed. I loved it. Not pretentious at all. Some other lyrics we've got, can you ride my composition? It's a tongue-in-cheek religion that I simply just made up.
It's good.
Every word in this song is calculated. It all comes together in the most perfect tongue-in-cheek, like cheekily delivered, fun and funky song. It's super short, just long enough to make you laugh and make you dance. There's that great almost like jazz horn stick ending. A song like this delivered by any other vocalist would make me cringe, and here I can't possibly love it enough. And I am a big fan of, I guess what you would call comedy rock. We did see Steel Panther last week, and that's a perfect example of songs that are just silly and fun and make you laugh and make you dance. And they put on a fantastic show, and I have a lot of video on my social media for that as well. That's kind of the equivalency I see here. Something fun and funny to make you laugh. Not everything has to be, a 7-minute long ballad. I love this song.
I really like the vocals and I really like the lyrics, but the music was just too stiff for me. And I thought those horns sounded borderline fake. It just didn't work for me.
They might have, maybe they were synth. I don't know.
It felt synth. I mean, if I didn't know better, I'd think that harmonica was a synth. I don't know. Wasn't the best.
I definitely think there were effects over the entire song, even the real instruments. So,
and jazz flute is for fairies. Okay. Coming in at track number 5, Madame Ruby's Love Boutique. I love this song mainly for this great chorus. It's so cool. I don't even know what it means, but Madame Ruby's Love Boutique, yes, please. It's like inside the Dynamite Jet Saloon. I just like it because it sounds cool. Finally, we get this great guitar solo section where the solo is good, but the drums and bass backing it up are better. And that's a problem. I'm listening to this guitar solo section. I'm like, it's pretty good guitar solo, pretty good section. I'm like, but my ear is drawn to what Eric Stacey is playing more than what these guys are playing, and the drums and the way that this bass and drum section is locked in, it overshadows these two guitars. So, I mean, is that good or is it bad? I mean, maybe it's good. I like the guitar solos. I thought the drums and bass were even better. So maybe that section just is a fucking powder keg. I don't know. I couldn't be any more impressed with these two on this album. And I'm going to keep waxing poetic on it, but fucking bravo on this rhythm section. Dave.
Funky rock here. This one seems a little overproduced, too much going on, too many layers. Although there is cowbell. Tammy's vocal is buried. You can barely hear what he's singing. That's the main problem I have with this song. The layers are okay, but what are you gonna do? Not bad though. I upgraded this one from 2 stars to 3 stars in my iTunes.
It's a good song. It just needs some more cowbell. Lisa, it's the worst fucking Christopher Walken.
That was really bad. I almost didn't know who you were trying to do until you said cowbell.
Like, is that fucking Ricardo
Montalban?
Who is he doing? Zip lane. Okay, go ahead.
Nice funky opening to this one. It pours right into the sleazy Faster Pussycat format. I love the little growl before the vocals come in. Classically delivered, fast-paced Tammy lyrics that each word is completely unexpected. Loose lips and poker chips. If you're going to talk speakeasy to me, Trash Can Louie knows the secret word. For a shiny dime, he'll give it to me. Who can write like that? It's just like off the charts. Nice little musical lead into the hook. They have all these little breakdowns, just 8 bars here and 8 bars there to lead into a tempo or a key change. Really good songwriting. It's not my favorite hook on the album, but the music is so good it makes up for it. Great female vocalists featured here. The bass is leading the way here again. For the guitars just seem to be following behind them. Sometimes I forget how bass driven this album is. I thought I heard a little guitar talk box in this song also. I'm not entirely sure. Love the dead air stop for the funky guitar solo. I thought for a minute it was going to go more psychedelic, but wow, the bass is featured again, even stronger than the guitars in the solo that was just before it. I like this one. It's not my favorite on the album, but the lyrics are absolutely incredible. It's an amazing contrast between this album and the last episode's album, how, a song needs good lyrics to survive. Tammy never misses.
No, he really doesn't. He's a master of what he does, which is why he got a 99. All right, coming in at track number 6, Only Way Out. So this one is disturbing, but Tammy delivers this dark story with a perfectly painted picture through his lyrics, is what you were just talking about, Lisa. He's a master of doing this, and it's so much fun to listen to him spin these tales. We get another kind of low energy, uninspired split guitar solo. Again, it's not bad. It's just was forgettable. And again, going back to like the solo for like Bathroom Wall, or, where you just know every note and the two guys are just seem like they're having so much fun bouncing off each other. And none of that is here. Just none of that is here. And finally, the chorus with the addition of the female vocal sprinkled in just sounds great. I've always loved this song. I've always thought it was really good. Dave.
This song starts out okay with drums and bass, almost a Motown feel, and then to me immediately gets repetitive with the rudimentary funk bass accents. I don't really think Eric Stacey has the bass chops to pull off funky bass or keep his 4-bar bass section interesting. You may disagree with me on that, but
you think?
I referenced maybe the guy from Love Hate could have.
Fuck him.
Oh my
thrown in some funky
you know what would have ruined this song? The bass player from Love Hate. Shitty sound.
Or Kyle from Bang Tango.
Or Billy Sheehan.
I don't think Billy Sheehan.
Lisa, you want to put Billy Sheehan in Faster Pussycat?
No.
So luckily the rest of the band comes in soon and saves it. The guitar playing between the vocal lines of the verse is nice, and it sounds good too. It's good guitar tone. The first guitar solo is okay, then falls off hard for the second half. It was bullshit. It was noise.
It was crap.
He wasn't playing a solo. Yeah.
Shit.
So they also did the thing again where the end of the song is just the chorus going on for too long. I would have liked to clip that a little. The song was okay though. I upgraded it from 2 stars to 3 stars in my iTunes.
Yeah, I would have liked a thought out ending for the end of this song as well.
Yeah.
Lisa, I'm curious.
A nice slower tempo song. I'm not going to call this one a power ballad. Tammy's vocals are deeper and more controlled. I love the gang vocals on the hook on this one. It feels to me like it's the whole band this time. I don't hear the females' voices layered into the gang vocals. It's a little bit messy and perfectly fitting for this kind of slow, sleazy song. We've got that rattler percussion vibra slap thing going on in here. Something that maybe should be playing behind someone taking a drive across the desert in a movie or something. This is a hard topic to write about, and Tammy does it with style. He did it with House of Pain. He does it here again. Some really hard lines to deliver in this song too. And your cigarette is not the only thing that left a scar. It's a good line. Mama says you're not supposed to touch me there. Oh, be a good little girl and give daddy your teddy bear. Like, wow.
Yeah,
like just
creepy.
Deep. It doesn't feel contrived. It's believable, and the pain comes through. I didn't mind the guitar solo here, and I feel like that second part, they were going into that kind of noise psychedelic sound again, which they're trying to grow as an artist. They're trying not to do the same thing again.
Was bullshit. They weren't playing notes.
And in the play out, we have the female vocalist coming back in doing these beautiful high notes, almost like a Steven Tyler thing that fits so perfectly. As the song is in its final seconds, we have those last few guitar notes entwining with the female singer's voice. It's very emotive. So I liked it.
I think they did add the female vocals earlier in the song, but I think that they would just smooth them out and made them just sound like smooth, like, dudes with like, high voices singing, because it sounded really pro. It sounded better than what these guys were capable of, I think. All right, that's ends side A. If you listen to the show on vinyl, none of that makes sense, but I love saying it. Flip it over. Yeah. Let's head over to the Should They Have Made It segment. Tonight's featured band is Angels in Vain, VAIN, with their song Suicide Morning. Lisa, I hope you've uncovered some good stuff on this, because I am intrigued.
I've uncovered some stuff on this.
Dave, uncover for us. Do it.
So I saw a Facebook post by Wham Bam Thank You Glam. I believe that's the Facebook group.
It is.
And it talks about this band here. And it says the band was formed in 1984 and lasted until 1986. That's a short run.
It is.
Band was formed by Elka Brandt and Steve Von Saint and featured former members of Sweet Pain and Limousine. Several members later joined the Throbs, yes, New York Loose, Saigon Saloon, and LA Guns. So the members were Elka Brandt vocals, Pete Wasif on bass, 1984, Danny Nordell, bass, 1986, Slim Tender, and later that year, Kelly Nichols on bass. Steve Von Saint on guitar from 84 to 86, Paul Wasif guitar, 1984. Roger Lane, 1985, who would go on to play drums in the Throbs, I believe.
Oh, cool.
And Scarlet Row, 1986. Brian Keats, drums, 1984 to 1986. I'm not 100% positive all these dates are accurate, but this is just what I found.
You got?
Augie and Ira Elliott, drums, 1986. After leaving the band, Brian Keats moved to England for 6 months with Pete and Paul Wasif. When he returned to NYC, he joined Princess Pang. This is a different band, like we talked about, from the one of a similar name, spelled vein like blood veins, formed in 2016, featuring Faster Pussycat's Eric Stacey and one-time LA Guns singer Chris Van Dahl. They released an album in 2023 on Paris Records. Different band. Lisa, you got anything on these guys?
I didn't get too much more than you got. I can tell you that Elka Brandt, the singer, would go on to play from 1993 to 1995 in a synth pop band in New York called Mind Over Matter. Okay. I almost didn't recognize her because if you look at, the huge glam hair, like, honestly, she looks a little bit like Michael Monroe to me in the pictures for this band, right?
Yes.
I had to really look to pick her out of the picture. But when I saw the
Which
synth
one's
pop,
the girl?
When I saw the synth pop band, she has a 100% different look, much more what you would call a 90s look for a woman. And I had to really compare the pictures to make sure it was actually her. It was her. But she keeps, as of today, she keeps everything private. I didn't find any evidence of her doing anything after 95 for music. So Pete and Paul, brothers, played in the band called the London Cowboys. Did you mention that one?
No.
Didn't they make a chocolate bar tour, the Peter Ball?
Awesome. Yeah. So they played together in a band called the London Cowboys. And Paul also played in a band called the Ugly Americans with New York Dolls members Jerry Nolan and Sylvain. Paul now plays blues and folk music. So he is still playing actively as a musician. So Steve Von Sant, who is the other founder of this band, along with Elka, played in Kill City Dragons, did some work with Stiv Bators, and formed the Kill City Dragons formed in London in 1989 with former members of Lords of the New Church, Dari Traguna on bass, Danny Fury on drums, and Billy Bang on vocals, Steve Von Sant on guitar.
And several of those guys will go on to play in a shooting gallery with Andy McCoy.
Exactly.
And I have a London Cowboys album in my iTunes, apparently.
And you didn't catch that. Yeah. So for the bass, there's a lot of bassists in this band, right? So we had Wasif being first, but he didn't last very long at all. Ronnie Rose being second. And then what was his name? Roger Lane, was it? And then Danny Nordell. And then Kelly Nichols. So it was for a 2-year run for this band, 5 or 6 bass players.
Roger, I believe, is a drummer.
Oh,
The-
I'm sorry,
the promo
Roger.
picture, the promo picture for this song that they used on YouTube is like 1984 spray painted on the wall. Kelly Nichols. Like I literally for a minute thought that was Andy McCoy. I'm like, is that Andy McCoy?
Yeah.
Like I had to Google it. I'm like, this is Andy McCoy. It's not, but it looks just like him.
You could definitely, set in the photographs at least, you could definitely sense the Hanoi Rocks influence in the clothing and the looks, and completely.
Like they were
And of
going out
course-
for Hanoi as Halloween.
Yeah.
Could hear it in the music.
Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, Slim Tender, friend to the show.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, let's spin the track.
Feeling kind of lonely, walking into the wall. Might be a little
All right. So, like I said, I was doing a deep dive on YouTube looking for new music to listen to. I like doing that sometimes. Just, it's funny. So I'll like take an edible and I'll have fun with it. I'll pretend like I'm a big wig at like Electra and they're like, all right, we're going to show you a bunch of videos. You're going to pick a band to sign. And I'll be sitting back watching these videos like, fuck them. They got nothing. Get out of my office. And then Angels in Vain stumbled into my office. And yeah, I fucking loved it, man. The picture, they look fucking great. Like you said, Lisa, this Hanoi vibe is strong, but without being a ripoff. And I mean, especially with a female vocalist. And at first, like I said, I thought Andy McCoy, the guy in the blue pants with the big brim hat, I thought that was Andy McCoy. And then I'm like, holy shit, is that fucking Kelly Nichols? I'm like, this thing's just getting better by the second. Then I hit play. And the tune sounded like an Offspring Hanoi rock song. Great riffs, great slide guitars, really great, cool female vocals that made it something else. Lyrics, good enough, pretty good, right? I loved it. I loved the tune. I loved the band. I listened to the rest of the demo. This is definitely the high point on the demo. The other songs weren't as good as this one. But I thought it was fucking killer. I gave it 87.9 watts, and they definitely should have made it. This was fucking great. And that score is even a little low. I could have bumped this into like a 91, but 87.9. Dave, how did you see this band?
I liked it immediately. Hard rocking with some slide guitar. The lady singer gives it a little new wave flavor with a nice clear voice. Yeah. She had kind of a Debbie Harry vibe a little bit. This is a demo, so the sound quality could have been a little cleaner, but it rocks. Yes, they definitely should have made it 75.6.
Yeah, dude, the female vocals were cool. I mean, she had some spots where she was a little Joan Jett. She was fucking bringing it. I thought it was great. Yeah. Lisa.
So the quality was a little rough on this demo. I'll just start with that. But it is refreshing to hear a female singer. And it's sad to me that we have to say female singer because she's a singer, right? Why do we have to
vagina will do?
Yeah, but like back in the day, it was not common at all to have a singer in this style of music, and that's sad to me. But yeah, so we have to call it out. The style is maybe a little too sweet for me. I'm not sure if it's, the poppy punk reminds me a little bit of the Ramones, with a little more razzle dazzle than the Ramones, but the hook is pretty catchy. With the two guitars, I would have expected a little more tricks and turns, maybe something a little thicker. There's some nice key changes in here, and the guitar solo, it seems to be like a pass back and forth between the two players. It's sleazy and pretty good. Bass player is really good, though. The singer, as you said, Dave, I picked this out. She sounds a little bit like Debbie Harry in her Sweeter era. I think I would have preferred a little more grit to her voice, something like a Wendy Williams or from the Plasmatics or like a Joan Jett. I didn't like, Des, you just said you heard a little Joan Jett.
I did. I got a couple of moments where I thought she got a little heavy. I thought it was good.
I think the singer makes the song sound a little bit surf music for me. Something that would be like on a 50s beach blanket bingo beam graded movie.
Oh, no.
Yeah, rather than like a dirty late 70s downtown New York bar, which was kind of what I thought they would be from the photograph of them. This one might not be totally for me. I do think the band is good. I didn't find too much music from them. I actually did not find the demo that you guys found. I did find a live recording of them playing at the Ritz in New York in 1985, doing a cover of Mamakin. And it's a little more raw than the studio version, which I liked better. But the singer's voice still remains sweet. I didn't get the new wave vibe that you got in there, Dave. I got more like of a 50s vibe for her. So many good bands came out of this lineup. So many good bands like following through. Yes, they should have made it, and I'm giving it a 72.4.
There you go. I agree. I mean, the female singer was definitely the weak link in the band. I would have liked to have seen. I mean, it's not misogynist. I would have liked to have seen a male vocalist here that, had more of a London Choir Boys, go ahead, say it.
Fuck you, Gary Ivan.
Vibe to it. So there you go. All right, add it up.
The problem with that, though, is they would have sounded like every other band if they had a dude singer, though.
No, you're right.
I didn't mind that they had a female singer. I just wanted her to have some grit.
Just a little tougher voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the lady from like the Cherry Bombs or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a little more, kind of snarl.
So is that what we're doing? We're taking this check out and putting the girl from the Cherry Bombs in? All right, it works.
She was fine.
She was fine.
You know what's funny is that she did end up in that synth pop band just several years after this. That was probably, if she was the singer, that was probably brilliant because that is a perfect fit for a synth pop band. So, I mean, she's a great singer. She carried the tune. She didn't miss a note. So I imagine the other style was probably perfection. So, okay. So on the Violent vinyl, should they have made it chart? Angels in Vain with the song Suicide Morning comes in with a total score of 78.63, putting them at lucky number 13, underneath Heartthrob Mob's Deja Vu and just above Pharaoh's Red Flag.
This is definitely better than fucking Red Flag.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. We're going to head over to side B, and side B starts with track number 7, Made in Wonderland. So unlike last week with Love Hate, who sucked, when these guys get a little funky, it sounds dirty and sleazy. It just works. I like it. We get great lyrics and vocals on this one. But again, the solo is just fine. That's it. It's just fine. But it feels flat and it feels uninspired, which is weird because I was so into these guys. I listened to the album last week or last month, like over the month. I told you like 2 or 3 times at work before I decided to pick it for this. And I wasn't listening to it to review it for the podcast. And I didn't like this. Somehow what happened, this phenomenon, like didn't pop into my head. I just was listening to Faster Pussycat and I remembered the album like, this is great. But going back and listening to it, it's just so weird how these guys just, I don't know, man, devolved, where it feels like everybody else evolved. So I don't know. It was fine. I really liked the song. It was cool, but the guitars just kind of left me wanting more. Dave.
I like the vaguely Spinal Tap intro. Not hating this yet. I'm hearing grunge alternative influence here, especially in the chorus. And I agree with you. The Greg Steele guitar solo is okay, but again, feels phoned in, like minimal effort was put into it.
Yep.
Too long chorus again at the end. I considered keeping this one at 2 stars in my iTunes, but I'll be a sport and upgraded it to 3. It's okay.
Dave, fucking Greg Steele ripped some solos on that second album, like where he was getting like borderline and getting a little greasy, like good, some slippery runs, like stuff where I was like, all right, that'd take me a minute to learn that, where this one, I just felt like everything would be so easy to play. Like a beginner could play these, not a beginner, but a less than good lead guitar player could handle this album. Like I could handle this album, no problem.
Right. Yeah. We don't know if it was drugs or, if these guys were just bored and they were, just fuck it. I'm going to, just whip something out and be done with it or
arguing about the style of the music
or what the deal
something
is.
like that.
Something happened.
They did say that they went into the studio with no ideas for this. So
yeah, Jesus, and no solos. Lisa, what do you got?
The opening on this song feels a little bit Bon Jovi to me.
Yuck.
You said Spinal Tap.
Yes.
I'm saying Bon Jovi.
Okay.
That deep percussion with a little southern pop guitar. I could see this with thicker synth and have it be a Bon Jovi song. When the song comes in and Taby's vocals come in, his vocals completely change the tone of the song for me and make it good. Even when you try to listen to the music underneath, you still get that happy pop song. You still like sort of hear it, but when it drops into the verses and we get that darker and funkier sound with Tammy's lyrics, it separates it from that old pop style. The hook is okay on this one. It's not the focus of the song. It's a little bit maybe even Jane's Addiction. We realized that like Love Hate's main influence was Jane's Addiction last week, but here's an example of a band using the Jane's influence very subtly and perfectly. The lyrics are the centerpiece here, as always. I actually like the line, "Believe it or not," better for a hook for this song than the name of the song. Junk is your religion. It's the only thing that makes you pray. You used to look like Marilyn. Now you look through window pane. Just
I love
beautiful,
that.
beautiful.
I love that.
Guitar solo is okay. It has lots of feeling, but again, it's not what I expect for them. It's subdued for glam music. You can hear them coming away from the glam kind of hair band sound, which brought you those big guitar solos, right? A little more thoughtful with the music, particularly the guitars. Music here is very thick. Percussion fills up almost the entire space. I hear almost some percussion layering, if that's possible, like almost as if there's two percussionists playing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever heard that before.
You could put down as many tracks of tambourines and cowbells as you want.
Dude, 38 Special had 2 drummers.
Yeah, that's true. So Combi Christ does too. So, yeah.
Dude, we were watching that video for what is it? Hang on Loosely. I think that's what it was. No, I can't remember. One of them. And Dylan goes, "Is that another drummer?" I'm like, yeah, they got 2 like legit, just 2 guys with like the tennis fucking wristbands. Like, so weird. Like, so weird. Why? Why did they have 2 drummers? Can anybody answer this question? Put it in the comments. I want to know. It's fucking stupid. Okay. We all set? Track 8? Coming in at track number 8, Friends. So I absolutely love this song. We get great. The piano is everything that those horns and harp weren't over in fucking 12-inch dictionary or whatever that is, 10-inch dictionary. This is really great piano playing. The sound is so good. It actually feels like somebody playing a piano. The feel is there. The vibe is there. The sound is there. It's really great. It carries this song. We get great lyrics. Tammy does the best he can with it. Now, here's the weakness of this song. As good as it is, if someone like David Roach had sang this song, it would have been 1,000 times better. 1,000. And Tammy does the best he can, and he brings the melancholy feel to it. And I really like his style, and it's a lot of fun. But the song had so much more potential. And honestly, I think the guitar player from Junkyard would have also killed this with that like Southern blues, like just melancholy, full of emotion, full of feeling, the perfect sound. It would have elevated this song to something like Slipping Away. The guitars on this track that were delivered by Greg and Brent, just, they don't have the feel this song needed to get all the way there. But it's still a great song for me. Just, the guys just did the best they could with it. Dave.
Well, you know why you like the piano so much?
Why?
Because it was played by Nicky Hopkins, who played with the Stones,
Oh,
the Who, and the Kinks.
Well, there you go. I knew something smelled good.
Yeah, the master piano player.
Incredible.
Nicky Hopkins. Yeah. Also guesting on this song is a gentleman named Chuck Kavouris on slide guitar.
Is that your final answer?
Sure. He's a slide guitarist, engineer, producer, and songwriter, owner of Slide Away Music Studio, which was originally located in California and moved to Tennessee. So his licks are kind of buried a little bit in the mix. So, you hear him if you really listen for him. I kind of wish they used him more on this track.
Dave, I literally said to myself, this song needed slide guitar. You're telling me there's slide guitar on this song?
There is.
It's buried a little bit, though.
It's buried like on the sides.
Wow.
Wow. So before the vocal even comes in, we get that great Stones flavor from the piano. I would have taken the chorus effect off the acoustic guitars. That makes it sound very 80s.
Yep.
And without that, I think they would have gotten closer to the classic sound maybe they were going for on this. The vocal, I feel like, could have used a little more creative melody. Gets a little slow. Just a couple more notes in there would have been good. It's better when the drums and bass kick in. I did not like Brent's guitar solo on this one. They should have let the guest slide guitar guy play something that didn't sound like Broken Fingers.
Yep.
Song is okay. Could have used some help in a few departments. I will upgrade this one in my iTunes from 2 stars to 3 stars.
Dave, this is another perfect example of a band like Poison trying to sound like the Stones. It just didn't get there. It just didn't get there.
Right. Just didn't quite have the dirt.
Those guys should have taken a backseat, like you said. Just let that guy fucking play some classic guitar, turn off all the effects, dry it way up, and then maybe let the women sing along with Tammy like they did in Nonstop to Nowhere.
That could have worked. Let the girl group vocal in there.
Yes.
Women. Girls.
All right, where do we go? We've really devolved in this one. I think I even said vagina once.
Oh God.
Lisa just zoned right over. When I start dipping to the gutter, she just can't even hear me when she's got her desk filter on.
La, 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 la,
All right, Lisa, talk about this song.
So I wonder, because I don't have the Stones history that you guys have. I don't know any Stones songs.
Shame on you!
I don't hear that in here at all, right? Because I don't have that view. Sure. So I was waiting for a ballad on this one, because they do the ballads so well. It does a little bit have the sound of House of Pain when it starts. And I do like how they layer the electric and acoustic guitars in here rather than, and I'll say it in a minute later, rather than like a 90s power ballad. The lyrics are completely different from House of Pain, though. I've always loved Tammy's ballad voice, and we get a little bit of cheek in the lyrics at the beginning when he says, who said the money was everything? Well, that's a crock. You know what I'm saying. There's like a little bit of cheek. Friendship is a concept we don't usually see rock songs written about, right? Especially at our age, friends are rare and hard to make, and kind of what makes your life better. Loyalty is rare. So it's good to see a song written about this. The chorus of the song is beautiful lyrically, because it's only you that'll take me along, because there ain't nobody, no, I'd rather have to help me sing a song. A friend won't leave me lying in the road, while others, they just pelt me with their sticks and stones. Won't steal my money, won't rob my home or take my honey. I hope my friend will always be there while I grow old. Little tearing up a bit on this
lump in my throat right now.
Yeah. I know I've had a lot of betrayal in my past, and only a few people have kind of proven their worth to me. That's for sure. I'm lucky to have my girls, my ladies in my life, that I have as friends. As Tammy says, lovers, they come and go like ships to a dock, bunch of heartbreakers they are. They blind you with their innocence and tie your heart in knots. So yeah, totally agree, Tammy. I think for me, this is a lovely song, and had I not already heard their other ballads, this one would have really stood out for me. But I think musically, they could have gone a little bit different from the past songs that they did with these gorgeous lyrics. I do like, though, that they stayed away from that 90s power ballad format where you bring in the song acoustically and then you drop in those screaming electric guitars towards the third verse, and then you come back out acoustically again. They didn't do that, and I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm glad they maintained the structure of the song and the sound rather than like making this a trope of the 90s. I think that made this a little more timeless for me.
Yeah. It got stuck in the middle. They didn't sell out completely and go totally 70s. It did kind of get stuck a little in the 80s, and it was the fault of the guitar players, unfortunately. But yeah, like you said, the message of friendship is really the strength of this song.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's because, you know, everybody's had a best friend, everybody's lost it. It chokes you up. It makes you feel good inside to hear these things.
I can't think of any other song from 80s or 90s written just about like friends from this glam thing.
No,
I really can't.
What was that song, Friends? The rap Friends, how many of us have them? Let's be friends before we go away.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, coming in at track number 9, Cat Bash.
You guys think you're so fucking cool because you're in Faster. Pussy. You guys think you're cool because you got platinum. I don't think so. When was the last time your video was on TV? Hey, we just done slapped the dick across her head and gave him a big old wheel.
So this is a couple of seconds of my favorite part of this album. This opening message, you think you're so fucking cool just because you're in Faster Pussycat. I fucking love that. Yeah, I think this is a real message. This chick sounds pissed. I fucking love this. And then we get the call back to the first album, you know, Pussycat. It's so cool. And then we get this nice little cheeky interlude. I mean, it's hardly worth even talking about because that's all it is, but it's fun. Does it belong on this album? Maybe not, but it was good. Dave.
Ooh boy, here's one of those that should have went on a solo album or been a bonus track or a secret track. I don't hate it, but it's an electronic programmed groove with Tammy singing softly in the background. We don't give a shit what the fuck you think. While I'm guessing what our band hotline answering machine messages play. The messages cuss them out, sometimes praise them, call them names. These sound clips take the front seat, electronically filtered through effects. Maybe they do care what people think. It's slightly funny, but it didn't really need to be here. I'll upgrade it in my iTunes from 1 star to 2 star because it is a little funny.
Yeah, Dave, I agree. I mean, it's fine for what it is, but it didn't belong on the album. And I think we're about to move into another track that maybe didn't belong on this album.
Yup.
Lisa.
I disagree with both of you.
Oh, no.
You're both totally wrong. I love this little interlude song about...
I'm not 100% sure, but I was going to say this will work great as like the intro clip before they come on stage for their show.
Oh, that would be good.
And I think they may have actually done that.
I think they did.
When I was looking at some of the videos.
I think they did that at the show that, did you open for them in Worcester? I can't remember.
At the Palladium?
Yeah, they did that then.
Okay, I don't remember, but
I don't think they played the whole thing, but they played like some
it would make
excerpts.
a great
Yeah.
like walking on stage music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How anyone in this world is a creative person or an artist is beyond me, because you have to have a thick skin to be in this industry, because people are going to hate you. You're going to have fans, but people are going to hate you. They just are. You know, everything isn't for everyone. But I've seen more and more, especially with the advent of the internet. And remember, this was before the internet. So these were like phone messages or something that they got. I've seen more and more that people thrive on being mean and bashing artists rather than you just don't listen, right? Yeah. If you don't like, just move on, right? I love this sort of like, it feels to me like sampled techno. I don't know why I've always loved this, but it's badass to call out people for being haters. Usually these people are just jealous. But you guys think you're so fucking cool because you're in Faster Pussycat.
So good. I love that opening one.
Oh my God. You guys might have gone gold, but have you gone platinum? Platinum? I don't think so. And this, of course, is where my opening greeting for this show was. I said, you got some lipstick I can borrow? So it was from this. as a side note, now that a lot of people, particularly women, get bashed online, a lot of men call out women like, oh, you're fat, or you're not beautiful, or there's something wrong with you. I love it when the women come back and call these men out for saying these things and post what they said and their photos next to it. And, why do people have such big mouths? Look at yourself first before you start like calling out other people. They think because you're on the internet, you have no consequence for your action. But here we are. So,
Yeah. Lisa, we've been lucky so far because we haven't had to deal with any psychos or any like really bad, reactions.
mhm.
Aside from maybe that one band that we were unable to drop the episode.
Yeah.
I still have that. I'll do a Patreon. I will do a Patreon, people. Don't tempt me. I still have that episode logged away.
I think it's good for us. We've had people definitely disagree with our opinions,
Yes.
which I love hearing about
Yes.
that. I want to talk to you about that. I want to debate you about that.
That's a whole different
But, yes.
idea from
Mm.
disagreeing.
Yes.
and just being a hater.
And as we
Drinking
get
Haterade.
as we get bigger and the show is growing, like it's really, I was saying to my wife just how excited I am by how quickly Violent Vinyl Radio is growing. I mean, the show is just every week I see more and more and more people listening, more and more numbers, and people from, like Scotland, I listen to this after work. And, we're so grateful that people even give a shit about what we have to say. And they actually consider this something they want to listen to. So thank you for that. But, you better have thick skin because it's just a matter of time before we get people like, fuck you, Des. If I ever see you, I'm going to fucking take your head off, and my response would be, good luck, bring it. But yeah, they're coming. So just know it's not going to be roses forever.
Let's just say this. I don't know if it's just because of being a woman or what. I get messages all the time from men. And I honestly don't know sometimes if it's related to the podcast or not. But I'll get a message where it'll be like, hey, beautiful. Like, hey, can I talk to you, beautiful? Oh, well, fuck you for not answering me, you stupid effing B, and all sorts of things. So, I get these crazy messages all the time, hundreds of them. I could make a channel of just that. I don't know if it's related to the podcast or if it's like a lot of my female friends also get that as well. So
right. Well, have you noticed an uptick since you've started doing
definitely,
the show?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then there you go. Beautiful. Nice voice. All right, let's do it. Track number 10, Loose Booty. So this one is a callback to Babylon On, obviously. So it felt very nostalgic for me, but it felt really out of place on this darker album. It didn't need to be here. These last two tracks didn't need to be here. And if they were going to use that track 9, it should have opened the album up like opening a show up. I think that would have been more appropriate, but stuffed in the number 9 slot didn't work. And then this one stuffed in the number 10 slot. The band sounds great on this track, especially Eric Stacey and Brett Bradshaw. We get more great backing vocals. We get some more fucking stiff, janky sounding horns. I didn't think the brass on this album was up to snuff. I really didn't. And as inappropriate as the lyrics are here, I mean, nowadays, making fun of fat girls, it's still funny. And, all fat girls give good head. I mean, it's fucking funny. It's dated for sure. It was beneath what was going on this album. This would have been funnier on the first album, or maybe even on the demo before the first album, and then maybe it evolves into Babylon On. You know what I mean? But on a different album, it's a cool track, just not here. Dave.
Nope.
Nope.
Funky bass, and the first words I hear are booty booty. I hear the white boy funk, and I remember why I hated this and gave it 1 star in the first place. I questioned if they were trying to recreate Babylon from their first album, but in a comedy song about fat chicks. This is horrible and has no place on this album. Needless to say, this remains at 1 star in my iTunes. If I could knock it down to 0.25 stars, I would. Now I remember what made me hate this album, this fucking song right here. Terrible.
Dave, I'm going to have to hook my wagon to your horse here. You make some very good points. This song sucks. Lisa, go ahead.
So we get a funky beginning. It almost doesn't sound like Faster Pussycat to me. And then the lyrics come in, and it wasn't funny then, and it isn't funny now. But here's the side note. It is funny when Steel Panther does it, who, as I mentioned, we saw in concert just this last week in this teeny tiny little venue in Foxborough, Massachusetts. There couldn't have been 300 people fit into that venue. Yeah. It was sold out, but it was crazy. Yeah, it was like a teeny tiny little place. Wow. And they have a song called...
They have plenty of songs. They have a song called Fat Girl.
That's what I'm saying. They have a song called Fat Girl, which...
but they're actually funny.
They're funny, and they actually love her. And that's what the song is about, is how great she is. So, I don't know. Like, I feel weird saying that I hate this song. It wasn't funny then. It isn't funny now. And then I'm also a huge fan of Steel Panther, who has a lot of songs that have some insults in them. So... musically, this song sounds suspiciously like the Chili Peppers. We get a funky guitar solo, but overall, again, it doesn't sound like a Faster Pussycat song. I know they were experimenting, and the second half of this album definitely goes kind of sideways compared to their regular style. It doesn't surprise me that they kind of fell apart shortly after this album because of how many different directions they were trying to go in. But the song is a no for me. And this song feels like it was rushed together and not fully formed like the other songs were. So.
Lisa, I agree. It definitely has that Chili Peppers feel to it, which is like couldn't be any further from, traditional Faster Pussycat. And I think when Steel Panther does it, it's meant to be campy. And when Faster Pussycat was doing it here, they actually thought it was cool. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Yeah. All right, coming in at track number 11, Mr. Love Dog. So I had asked you earlier, Lisa, if, Tammy Down was actually from, Seattle or San Francisco or where he was from, and because he actually, mentions in this, you were the one from back home that could have had it all. Mm-hmm. I love this tribute to the late, great Andrew Wood. Mm-hmm. And again, Eric Stacey is playing his fucking ass off on this song. It's so good. It carries the song along. We get some great lyrics, especially when Tammy says, "You might have hated me. I don't know." And that's so cool because, Mother Love Bone was so, anti. I mean, it's weird. So the band was anti-glam, but Andrew Wood was very glam.
Yes.
So I just thought that was a really insightful line, like he's telling you, Tammy's telling you here, he's not trying to front like, I'm writing this because this guy was my best friend. He's saying, I'm writing this because I respected this dude as a singer and a songwriter. And I don't know if he would have liked me or not. He might have hated me. I just thought it was a really great descriptive line that always stands out to me when I listen to this song. It's a well-crafted song. It has some nice dynamic changes. It has a great chorus of more of these great backing vocals. I can't tell if the women are here or not. I think they are. It sounds very smooth and buttery. I thought the keyboard section before the solo fucking sucked, man. These two licks, they play the same lick twice in a row. The sound is terrible. The lick is terrible. They double down on it. Oh, it really yanks me out of the feel. Like I'll get to this part of this song and I'm kind of feeling like that Chloe Dancer vibe. And then it's like, it's like, fuck that. But it's good. Dave, what did you think? And specifically that keyboard thing I'm talking about.
The keyboard didn't bother me that much.
No.
Did you catch though towards the end of the song, the last time they did the chorus, he actually changed that line from "you might have hated me" to "you might have liked me."
I didn't catch that.
Oh, okay. So I thought that was kind of cool. That like, cool. I don't know you. You know, you might have hated me. You might have been a fan. You know, who the hell knows? Right. But I thought it was neat. He kind of flipped that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this track is a tribute to Andrew Wood, the Mother Love Bone singer who had died in 1990. Smoky, mysterious sounding song. He drops lots of references in the lyrics to Andrew's songs, Mother Love Bone songs. It is a nice tribute. Credited on the track is the Pasadena Boys Choir. That's the extra voices you're probably hearing.
Okay.
And I've upgraded this one in my iTunes from 2 stars to 3.
I'll tell you one thing this song another thing about the song that kind of like failed for me was, you know, the guitars are so great in Mother Love Bone. Like these guys just have the best sound and tone and play the best, classiest licks. And Brent and fucking Greg could not muster one up between them. And it was really sad. Dave, while Lisa's giving her review on the song, can you please tell me what your score and what my score were on Apple? I would like to know. Lisa, go ahead.
I'm so sad you guys already did Apple, by the way.
Oh, we're doing it again. That's what I'm saying. Let's just take that other show off the fucking board.
Well, we can leave it on. We just do a rewind and people can always go back and listen to the old ones.
That old show is just fucking bad therapy. I mean, like telling horrible stories about my life and just bad.
So they're going very theatrical on this second side along with this. And I can hear the Jane's influence and I can hear the Mother Love Bone influence, not just because the song is about him, but because they're going in that direction. And this is the direction and the direction that Mother Love Bone was bringing to music, which was to mix glam with rock and grunge in a way that was going to survive, right? And losing Andrew Wood killed that and killed the way that glam was going to go. I feel like, I know it's like just one person, but I feel like the loss of him was part of the loss of glam because that was the way forward.
Lisa, you're so right. It would have ushered in a new glam and it would have gone hand in hand with grunge. So you could have had Alice in Chains and Mother Love Bone in the same sentence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
the hook is probably the most memorable part on the song for me. The "Hey, Mr. Love Dog, you'll always be the one back home that could have had it all." I love that part in the song. Beautiful poetic lyrics. You know, they obviously mention Mother Love Bone as Mother Bone, and they even mention Pearl Jam in the song. So now you're the holy roller with the hubcap diamond star halo. Yeah. This is a goodbye to Captain High Top. Hope your Pearl Jam can keep it strong. I mean, just freaking beautiful. Really now, well. I think in addition to saying goodbye to Andrew Wood in this song, was Tammy also saying goodbye to glam in this song? Did he know? Like, I think he knew. I think he knew what was happening. And I think he knew how devastating the new music was going to be to the scene without people like Andrew Wood, who were going to be the ones that brought it forward.
Yeah.
You know, glam died back then because there wasn't a lot of space for music at all, right? You didn't have the internet. Right now with the internet, anybody who makes music can have space, and you don't need a record label or an album out or a place in the music store to reach people. Anyone can reach people now. I think back in the day, if we had that kind of outlet for music, glam wouldn't have died. It would have just gone on maybe in a smaller part of the music scene, but it wasn't going to in the way the world was then. We do get a lot of echoes of Faster Pussycat in the guitar riffs coming out of that musical interlude, which is the piano piece that you guys were talking about. But I really wish that whether it was Mother Love Bone or whether it was Faster Pussycat, that someone had gone in this direction, and that like if Faster Pussycat hadn't have imploded, or even if Tammy decided he was going to go on and do industrial and the rest of the guys went this way, like I would have wished that had happened.
Yeah, it was all the Kip Wingers and fucking douchebags that just ruined hair metal. It just made it like, if you listen to hair metal, you just were fucking a loser at the end, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, and
Mr.
if you,
Big and
yeah.
Firehouse.
there was no coming back. It was over. They killed it. You know, you were talking about these Jane's Addiction's influences on the Love Hate album that I just couldn't hear. I just literally couldn't hear anything. Would have gun to the head. I would have never said Jane's Addiction. But like here, you get that line, you know, makes no sense at all.
Yeah,
like that
exactly.
is so fucking Jane's Addiction. It's so good, but it's like still original. It's not a ripoff, but if it doesn't give you those fucking feels, then you know you don't know what you're talking about. Dave, did you get those scores for me?
Yep, I have them.
Okay, let's hear them.
So Mother Love Bone's Apple album wound up at rank number 13 out
pretty good.
of a total of 51 albums that we ranked.
That's pretty good.
You gave it a 95.7.
Yes,
overall.
sir.
Good.
I gave it a 68.
Dave.
Dave.
Well,
God, I
Jesus.
do it.
Pretty
God.
good.
Oh, pretty good.
Better
he
than
said.
average.
Oh, just better than average.
I was warming up to it. It was not my thing,
Oh,
but
God.
Holy shit.
and Delynn gave it an 87.45.
Oh, she was on the show for that episode.
Yes, she
That's
was
why
in Fred
that's
that episode.
why it went so high. Because if Ed and Fee had been there, it would have come in at like 49.
Yeah,
Lisa, just a little spoiler alert. What would you give that album? It's just off the cuff. It doesn't have to be like what you'll actually give it.
In the
But
mid
just-
to high 90s, for
Yeah.
sure. It's 95 or above. I
Yes.
love Mother Love Bone.
Love that Apple record. It is fucking, as the kids in California said back in the 80s, bitching. All right.
to be fair, I liked it a lot more than I thought I was gonna.
I think if we did it again, you would give it a higher score. I really do. I think there's
I'm
more
pretty
in
sure
there.
I would.
Yeah, but we will do it again along with that Nothing Shocking album. Okay, I want to do that habitual ritual fucking.
Oh.
I
Fun story. On our way to the Steel Panther concert, I had Dave trapped in the car.
Oh yes, you
And-
told me.
Yes, and I played the Ritual De La Habitual album, and he looked like he wanted to jump out of the car.
He was like a wet cat in the
horrifying.
tub.
Yes, it was terrible. And he was
That's a great way.
driving, and he still wanted to jump out of the car.
Shit, no. That's a good album. It's a good album. All right, coming in at track number 12, Out with a Bang. So this is a great final track. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to spoil it. It was really close between this song and Nonstop to Nowhere for my favorite song on the album. And this is one of my favorite Faster Pussycat songs. I absolutely love it. Incredible lyrics from Tammy, incredible vocals. I love all three sections of this song, the verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus. But the pre-chorus here leading into this dark, catchy chorus is so fucking good. And his vocals are so aggressive and he's singing them so aggressively. And I just really, really love it. The solo was okay, but there were zero greasy runs in it or licks. And I wanted to hear something in this song that I would say that would be tough for me to learn. Like that's pro, he's bringing it. It's a really great lick or it's a really great, scale or run he's doing. They were really stiff and simple, like really simple. Like I feel like I could learn these solos in 10 minutes and I'd have them like 100%, just nothing there. Not bad, just not what I've come to expect from Greg Steele and Brett Mugscat, but really great final song for this album. Dave.
This one starts with a much better drum and bass intro than that other song. Kind of funky overall. I would have liked the hook to have been a little more highlighted, but I liked it overall. Wah wah guitar solo is fun. Overall mood of the song is pretty cool. I've upgraded this one in my iTunes from 2 stars to 3.
It's a tough song. Lisa.
The opening sounds dark and spooky, and the bass is completely up front. When the vocals come in, we get classic Tammy with a really sleazy sound. It's a very bass-driven song, as most of this album has been. I think my favorite part is the melody in the chorus and the hook and the answering gang vocals that is so signature to their sound. Don't care if I slip into a grave tomorrow, because when I go out, I'm going out with a bang. I just
love that melody
that.
coming in that fucking don't
Beautiful.
care if I... Oh, it's so tough.
Continuing with the lyrics on this song, almost every line is a creative burst of something we've never seen before. I'm the poster boy for delinquent debauchery. I'm incognito, got my Al Capone sunglasses.
Oh, so good.
It's an example of like perfectly balanced music and lyrics where the lyrics shouldn't fit the song, but they do fit because Tammy is able to twist them in, and he's just a master at delivery. There's a short bridge leading into this sleaze guitar solo that I was missing in the last few songs. This couldn't be a better ending to the album. It kind of weaves their newer, like psychedelic pop sound in with their old sleaze glam sound, and it makes me wish this type of music never died.
Lisa, I wish that this had been Faster Pussycat's new sound. I wish we got a whole album of this. That return vocal on Out With a Bang by the Chicks. Oh, it's
so good.
Fucking so good. Oh my God, I love it. All right, so there you go. That is our discussion on Faster Pussycat Whipped. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed talking about this one. I thought it was great. Let's do some favorite tracks we love, tracks we cut. I already tipped my hat to this one. I'm going to go ahead and say Out With a Bang is my favorite song. Nonstop to Nowhere would be B to that A. Track I would cut would be Loose Booty. It fucking sucks. Dave, same questions.
Favorite track without question, Nonstop to Nowhere, best song on the album by far. I would cut also without question, Loose Booty. There were 3 tracks I'd have cut, but this was the worst one.
Okay. Lisa, same question.
In honor of our recent Steel Panther show, I'm choosing Big Dictionary as my favorite song on this album.
Come on.
With an honorable mention to Nonstop to Nowhere.
Lisa, we all know that that's a lie, but it's okay.
I love Big Dictionary. Love that song.
Okay.
Yep. And the track I would cut, Loose Booty, it didn't age well. And in the era of Steel Panther, we have our insult songs properly delivered. Thank you very much.
How could the producer not have known to leave that off the album? Like, guys, this one is not a winner for you. This one sucks. Okay, who are we going to fire? Who are we going to replace? I am going to fire Greg Steele on this episode, and I'm going to replace him with Mick Cripps from LA Guns, because why not? Mick Cripps is fucking cool, and he plays a Les Paul, right? Fine, there it goes. Dave, same questions.
Nice. They needed some guitar firepower here. These guys did not deliver as needed. Let's replace Brent Muscat with Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones. He would give them that classic edge they seem to be searching for.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, he just dye his hair up black. It's already pretty good. And get him in some patent leather pants, and he's good to go. Yeah. Lisa.
I don't think you're going to like my choice here. This is a great lineup. But if you're going to force me to, since they were going in that Jane's Addiction direction, the bass was really good on this album, but I'm actually switching out Eric Stacey, and I'm giving you a different Eric. I'm giving you Eric Avery from Jane's Addiction to give them some even dreamier bass.
Sure. It's great. Sure. I love it. In fact, it gets Faster Pussycat to that next fucking album. Who knows? With some of the writing and stuff, changing it up and making it maybe a little more palatable for the, the 90s and the 2000s.
Hey, I've learned recently from Spinal Tap, you could have more than one bass player in your band, right? So maybe we just add a second, and nothing against Eric Stacey. He did really well. So.
I loved Eric Stacey on this one. I loved it. I hope he hears this because I really blew some sunshine today. All right, let's do some final thoughts and watch scores. So I absolutely love all 3 Faster Pussycat albums. They do start to devolve a little bit from each album. The first one is the best, second one is second, third one is third. But I don't think that the gap between the 3 albums is very far. I think they're all in the same wheelhouse. They're all great. They all have their strengths, they all have their weaknesses, but overall, they're great albums with great lyrics and great choruses. And Faster Pussycat just never wilted for me. They were strong through all three albums. So for me, this one, the other two got into the 90s. This one just fell like 1% short of getting into the 90s. It's 89.9 watts. It's a great album, but it's not their best offering. Dave.
Faster Pussycat did seem to kind of get shafted by the music business and shifting popularity of styles. So, okay, maybe I judged this one slightly too harshly in the past. But where their first album is 100% bangers, the second album slightly less than half good. This one has one really good song, 3 bad ones, and the other 8 that are okay, but I already don't remember them. The quality fell off for sure. Yes, you are allowed to experiment and expand your sound, but the songs still need to be there. They needed some writing assistance and a producer who could have been firmer, cut the bullshit, and delivered a consistent album. I would not re-listen to this whole thing again.
Yeah. Jesus.
My score is 47.4.
Oh.
If not for Nonstop to Nowhere, this album would be much lower.
Wow.
So you're telling me Love Hates albums on the passenger seat of your car, you're driving to work, and this Faster Pussycat album's there, and you're grabbing that fucking Love Hate album.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
100%.
Oh, okay, Lisa, do what you got to do here.
As I said, I didn't wear out this album in the past the way I did on the previous 2 albums, but I can say I remembered every single song. And honestly, I was shocked by how much my brain just had this reflex of knowing every note, and even though I hadn't heard it in a really long time. Goes to show how much I was still a fan of them, even though I had basically left this genre behind by 1992. In the first half of this album, it was exactly what I expected it to be. Sleazy, dirty, a little dark. And the second half went off in this kind of creative adventure, which back in 1992, I thought was just amazing. I don't think I noticed it back in the day, how far it went towards the psychedelic rock sound. I have no memories of comparing this to Jane's Addiction back then, and I had no expectations that the sound would be so far from their core sleaze glam, even though I remembered every song. For me, the lyrics on this album are the highlight. Tammy's songwriting was so tuned in at the time. He had really exercised these skills for so many years. It made for a beautiful, poetic songs with full stories and resolutions. Such an incredible contrast to me to the Love Hate album from last week. He was at his peak in the early 90s. It doesn't hurt that the band was extremely tight at the time, and the production gave each instrument room. I don't remember it being so bass-driven, but it definitely was. This totally held up for me. I'd definitely listen to it again, even though I had left this one behind for so long. I'm glad we dusted it off, because I didn't remember how much I loved it. I'm giving it a 92.7.
Nice. All right. Let's add those scores up. Dave says, ish. Let's add those scores up and tell us where it lands on the VVR list.
I actually honestly almost gave it a little bit higher, but I had to compare it to some of the other albums we had done. So, okay, on the Violent Vinyl album chart, 1992's Faster Pussycat Whipped comes in with a total score of 76.67, putting it at number 24, just below Alice Cooper's Trash and just above Wasp's self-titled album.
Interesting. All right, there you go. So, Lisa, you have got the next pick. Please tell us and our listeners what our homework assignment will be for the next 2 weeks.
I think you're going to be really happy with this. I am choosing the London Choir Boys, A Bit of What You Fancy from 1990. The Fuck You, Gary Ivan episode is coming.
A little of what you fancy? A little of what you fancy? Yeah. Okay.
A bit of what you fancy, yeah.
Okay. You're going to be surprised. I'm not very versed in the London Choir Boys. Of course, I own the album, yes. But this one, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because I moved, I started moving around the country a little bit about this time and maybe wasn't sitting in my room listening to albums like I was. I was more out living my life. But this is going to be a bit of a fresh listen for me. Not completely, but I look forward to listening to it again because I really can't form an opinion just off memory. So there you go. Interesting.
Yeah. Gary
And-
Ivan wasn't in the band. So, and this is before they changed their name. So this is the beginning of their
Cool.
journey.
Cool. I'm looking forward to listening to it. Like I said, I owned it, but it was a zillion years ago, and I haven't listened to it in at least 20 years. So there you go. And for the Should They Have Made It segment, what have you scrounged up for us?
Okay, we're going out to the UK with a band that's had a lot of interesting members that came from and then would go on to big projects. We're going to listen to Kill City Dragons, and the song is Devil Calling.
All right. Kill City Dragons. And what is the song?
Devil Calling.
Devil Calling.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I look forward to perusing YouTube for that this afternoon while I eat a big bowl of goulash. Do you guys know do you know what goulash is?
Of course.
I mean, only in New England. People, I mean, like the guy from Scotland's like, what the fuck is goulash? So goulash is also referred to as American chop suey. You might know it under that name as well. But yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be yum, yum, yummy. On Hey, Did You Ever See That Movie, our sister podcast, we will be breaking down Friday the 13th, part 2, since part 1 we got so many views on part 1. It was staggering. So we're going to do part 2. And if it gets so many views, we're going to do part 3. Then I'm going to watch them breakdance. I'm going to watch them go to space. I'm going to watch them fight Freddy. We may literally do 1 through 8 in a row on Tony's fucking Tales of Terror. So we'll just see if the numbers stay up on this franchise.
I've only seen the first one.
Yeah, dude, the next one, no hockey mask still no hockey mask. So it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see what happens here. I don't think I've ever seen it. Lisa, Dave, thank you so much for joining us again this week for this discussion. It was so funny. When I say us, I mean me and my several personalities. Until next time, take those albums out of the sleeve and let the music breathe. See you later.